Salute, gentlemen.
Salute. Happy birthday, my brother.
Much. Thank you for
to
being
many
here.
more.
Thank you, young Jamie. Thank you. Thank you all. Woo!
Tremendous.
53 spins around the sun.
I have not fucking had a drink the whole fucking...
The whole COVID?
The whole COVID. Not, I didn't drink before that either, I don't think.
No, you weren't much of a drinker.
It's fuck. Every night I go home, I'm going to have a makeup because the Heineken makes a light.
Yeah.
5 points.
Oh, yeah.
Tremendous. And
they make a 0.0 that actually tastes good. Zero alcohol. It's Heineken has, for sure, the best non-alcoholic beer.
Really?
It tastes like fucking beer. Like, if you were an alcoholic, you'd be like, oh, my God, I fucked up. Like, you know how you have those? Like, I like O'Doul's. It tastes good. But it doesn't taste like beer. A cold O'Doul's is delicious. I like those non-alcoholic. I do. Some people don't like them. I like them. Like, a cold one is really nice. But you know what you're doing. With the Heineken, they kind of trick you. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're doing some weird shit. Because it tastes like beer.
Well, beer is like a taste, kind of. That's the way O'Doul's work. It's kind of like that smoke juice you put in meat. Like, oh, that's the taste of smoke.
Right. Or like watermelon gum. That shit don't taste like watermelon.
No, but still good.
But you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's so crazy how beer, like I grew up on 6-packs and 8-packs. 8-packs with 8 ounces.
Yeah.
Nips. You got a case of Nips or a case of beer. And then you went out to Colorado and they had 3.2.
3.2.
Alcohol.
Low alcohol beer.
If you're under
like Utah.
between 18 and 21.
Oh, really?
That's what you have to drink. Then when you turn 21, they give you the full dose. There used to be a club on the hill, I forget what it was, in the University of Boulder, downstairs, and that's what they served you, 3.2 beer.
Right around the time I was turning 18 was the time they made it 21 years old. I'm pretty sure. Find out when they did it in Massachusetts. When did Massachusetts make the drinking age from 18 to 21? I feel like I missed it by like a year or two, but probably for good. They were like, Jesus Christ. Like,
I remember that when I was in elementary. People were mad about that.
Yeah, at least make it harder for them. Fucking animals.
Thank you for the COVID test.
My pleasure.
I did the blood test.
Okay, it's 1979. They've raised the drinking age from 18 to 20. Huh, but when was it 21? Oh, okay, 84. Dukakis.
84.
Exactly. Okay,
Dukakis.
So 84, I was 17. That son of a bitch. And he raised it from 20 to 21.
Dukakis also fucked up. He gave out furloughs to prisoners, and one escaped and killed somebody. So when I got into
Willie
a halfway
Brown, right?
house,
wasn't it?
when I got to a halfway house, everybody was mad at Dukakis because you couldn't have furloughs no more.
Oh,
He
that
used
was
to
a famous
furlough
story.
prisoners. Yes.
What about it? Was Willie something or another, right?
I forget the whole story, but I know that people in prison were furious because they couldn't go to fucking on furloughs no more.
That
Because
poor guy.
Dukakis let him go for like 4 days, like a fucking, like Club Med for 4 days. He's a fucking prisoner. I ain't gonna let him go to Club Med, and that was the end of that tune.
Well, they're releasing a lot of prisoners right now because of COVID. They're opening up the doors.
18,000 in California.
Did you hear that one that just...
That came out of jail and shot the motherfucker who accused him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the best idea, kids. There's a lot of those people who are very violent. Like, it depends on what you're letting out. If you're letting out some dude who sold weed, you should have let him out a long time ago. You're letting out some guy who's selling mushrooms. Let that guy out. Don't keep him in a fucking cage with people who are murderers.
We've had this conversation before. You got to let out the people that are nonviolent drug offenders.
Yes, all of them.
Nonviolent drug offenders, first-time offenders, unless, there's you know what the big thing in jail is sometimes when you go to county? There's a big DUI population.
Really?
There's motherfuckers that can't stop getting DUIs. I think my ex-brother-in-law has the record in Colorado. I'm not making a joke here. Like, there's people that stay in the system because of the DUI problem.
Jeez.
They got to blow into a tube before they start their car.
Yeah, my friend Robbie had
Yeah,
that.
they got all types of shit. So, and then they put you in work release. That's a complete different situation. Then they have different levels of it.
Yeah. That blowing in the thing, it takes some time too. He couldn't just start his car. So if it was cold out, like we were playing pool, and I go, "How long does that take?" And he's like, "It takes like 5 minutes. Just got to sit here because it has to check to see to make you all right." And you can't. There's no getaways. Like if someone's chasing you, you hop in the car. You got to blow on the thing to get the car to start.
I had a friend that did that. He used to just pay people $5 to blow in there. He would get hammered. Come here, what are you doing? Blow in there.
Do you know what happened in Chicago? Do you have an idea what happened this weekend in Chicago?
No.
Do you know?
Oh, about the
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, there was
The
a shooting.
riots.
There was a shooting, and then there was some crazy looting.
They broke into Tesla.
And Jamie was the first one to tell me that there was like a incorrect story. The incorrect story was that a 14-year-old girl was shot. Is that what it was? Or a 15-year-old girl was shot?
I heard, yeah, a 15-year-old was shot and killed by the police, but it was misinformation that was, and I don't know how that got out or who put it out initially. I didn't find out that part of it, but it was actually a 20-year-old that was not killed and was in the hospital. Oof. So it got, I don't know.
Yeah, we're one of those away. We're one of those away from this whole fucking thing exploding in different cities again.
Why do you feel this strongly about Los Angeles lately?
There's too
I've
many
seen
people
you make
here,
a turn
Joey.
ever since the Houston trip, you've been a different person.
Well, I've been thinking about it for quite a while. I've been thinking about leaving LA for a while. This is just my feeling. I don't think this is a healthy way to live. I don't think it's good for your brain. I really don't. I
Which
think
part of it?
the people that live here, like, I wonder if it's a coincidence that so many people that live in cities have like, it's like cities are always Democratic, right? Almost always. Cities are rarely Republican. Isn't that weird? Like, I don't know. I mean, is Houston like that? That's a pretty big city. Dallas is a pretty big city, but I think they might be blue. I think the cities might be blue, and then the states are all, the surrounding areas red.
Me and Jamie grew up red.
I wonder, but I always used to think that was because they were smarter. I used to think that they were more educated, so they were more likely to be Democrats. Because my family was Democrats growing up, and I always felt like that was like the people who were really interested in freedom of speech, really interested in education, and really interested in welfare and making programs for poor people and prison reform. They didn't want the death penalty. They wanted you to have the right to choose. That's what it was always to me. So why the fuck are they all like lumped up in cities? Like, what is that? It's because that's where all the universities are. But there's some universities are in the middle of nowhere too. It's weird. It's weird how cities are like if you just forget if you had a dog in the fight. If just looking at people, it's odd that these big giant clumps are almost always they lean Democrat. It's weird. And then when shit like what's going on now happens, where you have violent reactions on a regular basis. Like on a regular basis, there's riots. On a regular basis, there's crazy shit going on in Portland and Seattle. They're trying to burn federal buildings. This isn't rare. This is like every day. We're totally accustomed to it. Have you noticed? You see a fucking looting and a riot and a building on fire on TV, you don't even flinch. You don't even flinch. That used to be a big deal, right? Remember like the Waco days? That was a big fucking deal. There was a standoff with the feds and a compound, and there was a guy who thought he was Jesus who was fucking everybody's wife, and they had guns. And you're like, holy shit.
Waco was fucked up.
It was
What year
fucked
was
up.
Waco? 94, 95?
Hicks was alive because Hicks talked about it on stage. So it had to be I think Hicks died in like 93 in that area. It was like Hicks and Kinnison died within a couple of years of each other.
It was
So it had to
Waco
be-
and then the Oklahoma City bombing, which
Yep.
blew our fucking minds.
Waco, 93. Okay.
93, and
So-
then 94, 95 was the Oklahoma City bombings, which really fucked with me that week. I snorted a lot of coke.
The Oklahoma City bombings are very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very
that
interesting.
Week.
There's a lot of
That's
weird
for
stuff.
April
to that.
19, 1995. I was still living in Boulder.
Do you see that building? Look at the building. There's people to this day that don't believe that that was just a car filled with some sort of explosive that did that.
Damn.
The most thing I remember that
They
fucked
say
with
it's
me,
too uniform.
it was a daycare on the basement.
Oh.
That's what destroyed me that week. And I remember I bought a big batch of coke and I cut it and I was trying to sell it. And I did the whole bag in 4 fucking days just watching the coverage on this.
Ugh.
There are some fucking insane people out there, and there are people that are so insane they'll plant a bomb in front of a building and blow the whole side of it up. They don't give a fuck who's inside.
Timothy
They wanna-
McVeigh.
Yeah.
And then
Look
you
at
had
that.
the Unabomber around that time.
Look at how it blew. That's crazy. So there was all these reports. The problem is like eyewitness reports after traumatic events like that, they're always off. People always like, they don't know what they saw. They're so fucked up. And you could tell them what they saw and then they'll repeat what you said. It does happen with people. When there's a big crazy explosion like that, so you don't know who's telling the truth and who's. But there was a lot of people that were saying they saw people carrying off bombs that were unexploded. They saw like the FBI carrying off bombs, like that there was more than one bomb. And then the way it looks, if you look at the way the building exploded, the way they were explaining, I was watching something on it, that the way one of those bombs would go off, if it was just a fertilizer bomb, like it wouldn't necessarily go off that way, where it looks like the whole side of the building is going out. You know, that it would be located, the blast would be, all the damage would be where the truck was located. But being a moron and not knowing shit about explosives, I don't know if that's true, but it does get interesting. Like, who gave him this information? Why is he blowing up that building? Like, what the fuck is going on? You could do that with a truck and some manure? Is that real? That's a hell of a fucking bomb. Can you do that? Like, could any crazy fuck just fill a pickup truck up, fill with fertilizer, do what they have to do to light it on fire and make it explode and blow up a building like that?
Yeah, was it the one guy was a suicider, or he just left it there and detonated it?
I think he just left it there.
And detonated it. Then they caught him, the one guy, there was a pair. They were part of a paramilitary group in the hills of Michigan or some shit.
Something extra spooky about those white dudes who live in the woods who are plotting to overthrow the government. Right? There's something extra spooky about those guys. And that's what you think of when you think of Timothy McVeigh. You think of those kind of people. Those, those people like... It's a real sad story. You ever hear the Ruby Ridge story?
No.
That was a real sad one. That was a guy who got in a standoff with the cops, with the federales, and they fucking shot his wife while she was holding the baby. I forget exactly what they were after him for. I forget exactly what it was, but it was an egregious overuse of power. I mean, they murdered these people, and the snipers murdered these people, and the people eventually shot back, and then, I mean, it's just a bloodbath. But it became a symbol of how, if you give people that kind of power, you don't know exactly how they're going to wield it. You give people the power to like pull guns out and storm some fucking cabin in the middle of the woods. Some people are more than willing to shoot people.
Did you ever see this story? It's Tony Curtis.
What is it?
This was a live press conference that got put on like every news channel. A friend of mine sent this to me recently. There's like a whole YouTube series about it. I think it's maybe even on Amazon Prime.
What's going on?
He's really mad at this dude. I think he was like his mortgage broker or something like that. And he got taken advantage of, and so he kidnapped him.
Oh, my
It's like a 4-day ordeal.
Oh, my God.
And he took over all the airwaves to get like his story heard.
Oh, my
I
God.
started looking into it the other day. It was insane. Like, I never even heard of it. It was in like 1979 or something, 77.
Is he still alive? What's his Yelp look like?
I actually think he might still be alive. When I looked him up, I think he was alive, yeah.
Holy shit.
This is the creepiest start to any podcast I've ever been on in my life. Buildings blowing up. Some poor fucking governor with a gun to his fucking head. What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here? I just did a COVID test. I feel good. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden I come into bombs and fucking explosions. Where's the happiness? It's your birthday, cocksucker.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Happy birthday to me.
We're getting the fuck out of here because all you need to do is hook a fucking left on La Cienega and then hook another left on Melrose and drive and play a game. Let's count the 4 lease signs.
Yeah.
And think about...
You can't just shut things down.
Think about the last time you were at the Improv. Close your eyes and think about the last time you were at the Melrose Improv. Now open them. When you go to Melrose now, think of the last time you were there.
Ugh.
And think of how long it's going to take for Melrose to be like that again.
Melrose was destroyed already.
That is why I am leaving, because of things like this. I see an 18-month comeback, and that's a guy with a GED. I see it's going to take, let's say we go April.
That's assuming everything goes well.
That's assuming everything goes well and everybody does the vaccine. Or some people say it's going to disappear November on like election day. It's going to just disappear.
That doesn't
I don't
make any
fucking
sense,
know
whoever
either.
those
So
people
yeah,
are.
I don't fucking know either. But I'm looking at this as an 18-month recovery. West Hollywood is going to be last because of the supermarket situation. They had 29 infected employees, and they spread it throughout the community in Hollywood. West Hollywood's going to be last. Did you know that? That all those bars are going to be last. So I'm sorry to give you the fucking bad news.
Joey, you just went off on Joe about starting this podcast off with bad news, and now you made me even feel worse because
we're talking about why we're leaving here. We're talking about why we're leaving. Why we're leaving. That's why. And the other thing that bothered me was the no school.
Burbank ain't bad right now. You know, like they
Burbank
don't,
ain't bad.
There's
Burbank,
but you're homeless for 24 hours there, and then you disappear.
Let me tell you something about Burbank, though. Burbank. Every time I go to Burbank just to look around. I got friends that live in Burbank. I go to 2 areas of Burbank. I go down Magnolia to Victory by Alberto's, and I see that street is getting very eerie. Like when you go on that street, you feel 2 things are coming. An earthquake. Every time I'm on Magnolia, I think of an earthquake. Like this is good earthquake weather for some reason by the donut hut. And then you see those people lining up for guns. There's 3 stores
there's
in a
3
row.
of them right around me, yeah.
Joe Rogan, it's crazy.
They're there every day.
I was driving the other day, 9:30 in the morning. There was a big line in front of Peterson's trying to buy guns.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. I follow all the gun shops around me, and they all have Instagrams, of course, and they show all the guns they got in for the day. And I'm like, oh, you know, I might get one of those. And then like an hour later, it's sold out like shoes. Like there's a line constantly on all 3 of those gun stores.
How fucking sad is that?
Well, this is what
bothers
what's
me.
sad. What's sad is, I mean, we know we didn't have a plan if everything went sideways like this, and you can't like governors and mayors. It's their fault, right? But it's not their fault because really, that fucking job is a ridiculous job in a pandemic. Like all of a sudden, there's a new problem that's presented with you. You don't have the resources to fix it. People are not going to listen. They're going to want to party. They're going to want to still go out. They're going to do. And you're in this situation where a large percentage. It didn't turn out to be as bad as we thought it was, but they thought it was going to be a large percentage of our population could possibly die, and you don't have the resources. And what do? And governors. Even though they are in that position, they're in that position because they got elected. They're not in that position because they passed a battery of tests and show that they know exactly how to respond to any given circumstance. They were charismatic. They had the right money behind them. They said the right things. They backed the right bills. And then you become a mayor, and then you become a governor. But it doesn't mean you know what to do if things go sideways, and no one knows what to do. And the fact that they were always getting those checks, they're always getting those checks. No matter what happened, no matter what shut down, they kept getting those government checks. And they told all these other people they couldn't work. Like, you can't, that's not a plan. That's not a sustainable plan. You can't tell people you can't work, but I'm going to keep getting paid. And I'm going to tell you when you can go back to work again. Because people are going to go, fuck you. Like, you can't just keep everything shut down for 5 months. That is California. I don't know what the proper response would have been. I don't know. But this wasn't it. This wasn't the best case scenario. And again, not a fucking word about your health. Not a word about taking vitamin D. Not a word about exercise. Not a word about drink water. Not a word about cut out sugar. Not a word about use this as an opportunity to lose weight. We have to up our metabolic health. We have to take vitamins. We have to be better about our health. Not one word. Everything's wear a mask and you can't do this and you can't do that. Don't open this and don't open that. And look, they weren't prepared. That's all it is. They're not bad people. Like, people think that they wanted to sabotage the state or sabotage the city. I'm sure Garcetti and Newsom are nice guys. They probably are fine to hang out with. The problem is nobody was ready. Nobody knew what the fuck this was.
I can't hang out with Garcetti. He says Los Angelinos too much. Leave it alone, all right?
Angelinos.
Angelinos. He drives me fucking crazy. Newsom looks like you could smoke a joint with him.
Maybe. And
talk to him and he'll go, you're right. I fucked up. But Garcetti's too. What about the fucking DA's husband's getting charged with assault? Because
what happened?
Jackie Lacey's husband is getting charged with a misdemeanor assault because when they went to his house to protest, that brother pulled out a piece.
Did he really?
And said, get the fuck away from my door. And they took a picture of him, and they charged him with misdemeanor, whatever, assault. The DA's husband.
My God.
It's just been,
the mayor or the head of police of Seattle just quit.
Yeah, that motherfucker tapped. He sent the letter out.
It's a lady. No, it's a lady.
Yeah, she said
those cuts, man.
Yeah.
That's
she sent the letter out.
$8 million.
Well, the cops, they see the writing on the wall. For whatever reason, people decide they hate cops now. Look, there's bad people in every fucking job. The problem with being a bad cop is it can ruin a person's entire life, ruin the life of a family. when you see someone abuse someone like that, like what we saw, it's natural to get upset. We all got upset, but it's not every cop. And I think that's a crazy way of looking at things, and they're figuring that out right now in New York. And New York has record crime, man.
New York is going off the fucking hook.
My friend John Joseph, you know, he lives in New York. He's always sending me updates. You know,
It's off the fucking chains.
it's crazy. And John's never left. He's been, you know, he's the lead singer of the Cro-Mags. Hardcore dude, does triathlons and shit. He's not going anywhere. You're not kicking him out. But he's, you know, he sends me these updates on crime, and nobody gives a fuck. It's crazy. It's like these guys. I mean, the criminals. They don't give a fuck. They're getting
stealing
wild.
catalytic converters in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Catalytic converters are going like fucking hotcakes
Same.
now, okay?
That's so crazy.
I thought of stealing crazy shit.
How much does
like
that
when I
work?
was doing coke, I was thinking about breaking into the White House, shit like that. But who would rob a fucking catalytic converter right off the street? They melt them down to platinum, they sell it, and that's how they're making a living.
Jesus.
Studio City the last week, they've been hitting neighborhoods. So if you park on the street, they clip your catalytic converter.
How weird.
But it's great. Everyone has Nest cams now and home security cameras. So like next door has become my new fetish of just watching people's home security of like people walking in the neighborhood doing nothing.
That's crazy.
Like,
Yeah,
this
but
guy
let me
looks
tell you
suspicious.
something. Let me tell you guys a fact. Our friend's martial arts school got robbed the other night.
Yeah. What'd they steal?
She caught it on camera. She dialed 911. They put her on hold for an hour.
What?
So you're dead. You're dead, buddy.
Always
dead.
call the non-emergency line, by the way.
And always press 2. And always press 2. You want it in Spanish. They pick up quicker. For you fucking unemployment dummies that haven't gotten
You
unemployment,
just gave up the secret.
you
though.
got to. I don't need unemployment no more. You got to press 2. Speaking Spanish, they get answered quicker. You dumb fucks. You learned something new with Uncle Joey. Why are you pressing 1? It's going to say press 2 if you speak Spanish. The lady's going to answer, and you're going to talk to her like halfway, like "Mi no sabe," and she'll fucking give you your paperwork, and next thing you know, you got your unemployment. But everybody presses 1 like a fucking knucklehead. Think about that next time. Think about press Spanish and see how quick they fucking pick up the phone.
Isn't it crazy how everybody went from everything's great, the economy's great, we hate Trump, but other than that, things are great.
But
That was how the country was, and then all of a sudden, everybody wants a gun. Same people.
It's because people are actually scared. And they're watching that video of live footage. You know, that scared a lot of people.
They also know people who have died, so they're scared to go to work. There's that too, right? That compounds it. Everybody knows somebody who's gone because of COVID, or knows
Yes.
somebody. Yeah.
That tastes tremendous, by the way. I don't know who made that. What
Buffalo
it is.
Trace. It's the shit.
That is fucking
is great.
delicious. Fucking delicious.
Yeah, it's very good.
If I didn't have
It's
to
American.
drive, I'd have 9 more.
This shit is older than America. This company started in 1773.
That is fucking delicious.
Where they out of?
Kentucky. Yeah, Buffalo Trace.
You do 2 more of those, then you
They
gotta
used to
break
make booze during the when it was illegal. They did it for medicinal reasons. I didn't know that they had a weed scam. Like they have a weed scam today, they used to have a booze scam. Same thing. You could distill whiskey for medicinal purposes. Like a doctor could prescribe it. Like, Brian, you need a drink. You're like, whew. Thanks, doc. You go to the doctor and cut your script for some whiskey, I guess. What the fuck did they use whiskey for medicinal purposes?
Having fun.
Dog, I used to fucking drink. I used to drink Jack and pull my teeth out.
Ugh,
When I
why?
didn't have insurance, when I was a young comic.
Oh, God. Oh, if you had a toothache?
If I had a toothache on the way home, I'd stop and get a little pint of Jack, do shots, gargle with it, and work the tooth. A couple of
something
bumps
about-
to numb the head, and you're fucking good to go. It was terrible.
Something about losing your teeth that's like extra creepy.
Listen to me, dog. From the cocaine drip, from all those years, right at the end, nobody really caught it. You got to watch an episode of My Name is Earl. When I go, I sing a song at the end. Tim Stacks, what you gonna do? Look at my tooth. My tooth is black. I had already quit coke 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, like a month later, I see that episode and I'm like, oh shit,
Your
I got a
tooth was
cocaine.
dead?
I got a cocaine tooth.
Oh, my God.
From the nerve. Nobody caught it. So I went to the doctor for something different. It was like the 22nd of December. And he was like a Beverly Hills dentist. Like this idiot sent me to like the, your friend's dentist, Jamie from My Name is Earl. Like he has the movie stars and shit. They send me there. I'm no movie star. You got to pay $200 just to walk in there. So I went in there for something different. And the doctor said to me, what are you going to do about that the cocaine tooth? And he goes, yeah, I had one of those at one time. That's the best when the doctor cops are doing drugs. So
How many doctors cop to doing drugs?
I got 2 of them that
Really?
have copped to me. 3 of them.
Wow.
Like cocaine?
Four.
Wow.
One that I grew up, and I would see him out at clubs, and he'd come up to me. I was 21. He was like 50, and he'd come up to me. He'd go, what do you got for the head in Spanish? In Cuban, miss. He used to say, ¿Qué tiene para la cabeza? And I go, aspirina, aspirin. And he would go, vete a cingar, compadre. And he would walk away from me. My one family doctor, whenever I went to see him, the best, 20 years was my doctor. I couldn't give him nothing hand to hand, but I walked into his office, put it on his desk, and then I go to the examination room. I never gave him blow. I just gave him like lollipops and brownies. I remember one time I went in and he's like, listen, man, I found one of your brownies one night and I ate it. Holy shit. Next thing you know, I was making a steak sandwich at 4 a.m. What the fuck was in that thing? Oh, yeah. And then my heart doctor now, he's the best. That's the best doctor I've ever had. He's got 3 stents in his heart from doing blow. He sold Quaaludes in Chicago. He's a fucking nut, but I love him. Love him to death.
Joey, what do you think happens to the country?
Me?
How does this, when you look at it, how does this even out?
Listen, first of all, I'm going to be as honest as I can with you. I don't know what red means and what blue means. I grew up hanging out with guys that were Democrats. I ripped signs down as a kid for people. I did all that political dirty shit as a kid. And guess what? By the age of 13, I saw the theft at the municipal level. I couldn't imagine the thievery at the presidential, the senatorial level, and the governor level. I couldn't imagine what the thievery was, okay? I saw it firsthand as a child. I was involved with it. I saw the payoffs. I went to Long Island with this family. I saw all this shit. I saw how things got done, So I lost my faith in it. Like, I don't really believe it. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. Joe Rogan's running for president. I got a drug that is going to hook people, is going to fuck people up. I donate $5 million to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan makes a few calls and gets that drug passed. And every year I donate $5 million to Joe Rogan. That's
It's
how
a
the
little
game
more
is
complicated
played.
than that.
But it's in the same fucking neighborhood,
yeah, it's in
my
the same
friend.
neighborhood. You're right.
It's in the same fucking neighborhood.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
You buy yourself into this. So,
Yeah.
you know what? As far as politics, I never trusted. So disclaim me as a politician. I'm talking about as a human being. I see a lot of despair. I see a lot of fear. I see, yesterday somebody put a thing up, and they said that they shut the clubs down in San Diego. And I go, thank fucking God. And a lot of people said shit to me, and I'm like, I'm not saying because of that. I'm saying because of the social despair. I think that if you're in a parking lot doing comedy, and a guy just went home and his wife broke up with him, and all of a sudden he checks the mail, he's losing the house, and he gets in his car to go for a ride. You know, how many farmers markets do people get hit at with cars? Especially lately. People have been running through people lately. I don't want to see some guy run through a parking lot in La Jolla and hit a bunch of people watching a comic or Right now is not a time to do comedy. You know what? People want to laugh, but their moral compass is off. We're confused. Do we wear a mask? Do we not wear a mask? Is there a disease? Am I going to get unemployment? Am I going to get evicted? There's a lot of things going on in people's minds. People snap on a daily basis is just getting caught on the 405. Expect a huge amount of people losing it. You got to be well-grounded.
Yes.
Thank God I do copy you. I get up in the morning, I do some shit, I do 2 bong hits, and I get on a mountain bike. I can't hike. But I got on a mountain bike, and I go all the way to cold water.
Beautiful.
And I come back, and I get vitamin D, and then I wash my pussy.
Woo.
And then I do what I got to go do. So I get all that shit out of the way. I don't watch no TV. I don't want to hear it no more. I mean, you put COVID, anything. World News Tonight is #1 watch show. Why? Because they're just selling you shit.
Disasters.
They're just selling you disaster. I don't watch it. The TV wasn't allowed in my house till 6. Now it's 7. And then I don't watch Jeopardy or Game of Fortune. That shit fucks me up because it makes me feel too old. Remember when I'd call for you? I'd call for you at 7:15.
Yeah.
Who is it? It's Joey. I'm here to call for Joe. Hold on 1 second. Come in. How you doing, Mrs. Rogan? How you doing, Joey? Mrs. Rogan, shh, hold on. And she's watching Jeopardy. So when I was a kid, if you watched Jeopardy, you were an old person. So every time Jeopardy comes on now, I get pissed off. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing home? Because when Jeopardy comes on, 7 o'clock, you and I are getting ready to go on stage.
That's a good show, though. That's a good show.
I know it's a good show. I get like one answer per show. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm a dumb fuck. But what I'm saying to you is, for the last 30 years, you and I, at 7 o'clock, a certain adrenaline goes into our body, and Redban included.
You mean get ready to perform?
Get ready to perform.
Yeah, for sure.
At 7 o'clock, something would happen to me that it would change. I'd go from being a dad, husband,
Get
all
ramped
that
up.
shit,
Start
to
getting
being
ramped
a
up.
murderer. I'm going down to the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
I got to go sharpen the sword. You know what I'm saying? 7 o'clock, you start thinking about new things. You know, the toilet paper, fucking, you know, all this shit. You write it down. You take a shower. I'd have my process.
Yeah.
I'd do a 4-shot espresso. I'd do 2 bong hits. I'd take a shower, get all duded up, get in the fucking car, go over Laurel Canyon. I'd be behind him sometimes, or Shab going down Laurel Canyon. Fucking tremendous. And all of a sudden that got taken away.
Yeah.
You don't think we're suffering? We're learning to deal with it.
Well, we got to take it away in the nicest time ever for comedy. This is the
Yes.
thing, like people that didn't go to the Comedy Store, that weren't Comedy Store regulars. There's an image of the Comedy Store that I think is from the darker days, where people thought of the Comedy Store as the comics are mean and shitty to each other, and that it's like the industry never goes there. It's like a dark place, like a dangerous place. But when we got shut down in March, those last few years were probably the nicest, friendliest years in the history of the store. People were so nice to each other. There was so many people that were supporting each other. And because everybody had podcasts, like everybody kind of fed off of each other doing that. And so it was beneficial to everybody to pump you up, like to let you, you let me know about Jeremiah, you let me know about Tony Hinchcliffe. We let each other know about these guys, and everybody sort of circulates and everybody does well together. It was a real good environment, man. It felt good every time you go there. It was all hugs and everybody was laughing. Everybody's like, I love that new tag or this or that. It's fun. It was a good time. It was one of the most positive places I've ever been to in terms of like a community for comedians. It was super supportive. And it was like that for years, man. Like for the first year I was back, I was like, I can't even believe I'm back. First show I did back was yours.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fun.
that
And I
was
think
fun.
Doug Stanhope opened it up. Remember, he was just like, guys, crazy show here.
Yeah.
I feel my whole time at the Comedy Store, which is 23 years, was pretty fucking good. You know, I didn't come out here to do anything. I came out here I was a criminal, and comedy won. You know, I was a criminal and a comic, and comedy won. It beat it.
Yeah, but I always knew, Joey, your thing was always that you had come from a very unsteady base. And you could tell. You were like a loving guy, but you had to get to know you. You had to get through you. And then you were a really loving guy. But there was this like the bridge you had to cross. But I knew a lot of people like you. I knew people like you. Not as funny as you, but I knew people that were like brilliant but crazy in this same sort of a way. And it was always the same thing. There's always like their childhood was all fucked up, or there's missing there. There's some shit that goes wrong there. And when you develop like that, when you grow like that in like such a chaotic experience like yours, it's hard. It's harder. But when you get through with gifts. That's what's interesting about it. It's like it's harder for you than a person that had like your normal Norman Rockwell mom and pop sort of a life. It's harder for someone like you. It's much more emotionally difficult. You go through much more want for love. You don't feel support. You don't feel stable. You grow up like that, and it's very hard to right yourself as an adult. Because all of us come out of our childhood, which we don't really have any control over who our parents are, and we have very little control over our experiences when we're kids. but we come out of that shit shaking. Like when we get onto the road finally, like not everybody comes onto that road with the same amount of stability. Like some people come on that road and they're like, my mom was awesome. My dad and my mom love each other. Yay! And they're just going down the road. And other people are like, who am I? My uncle fucked me and I'm on coke and I'm only 15. And that there's a lot of those people out there too. And it's like a matter of like writing it, a matter of like getting it stable, a matter of like getting your life in a position where you feel like you can make good decisions and you're in control of it. And it's not the same for everybody. And I knew when I met you, you were a good guy. I knew you were a good man.
No, I knew that too.
I knew right away.
I didn't question that.
But I knew
I
you
just questioned how long I was going to last here.
You were distracting yourself with other shit.
I didn't know how long I would last here. I thought this was just going to be a fluke and I would end up in New York selling coke. And the story is that I became a regular. I broke the record. I became a regular within a month.
Did you really?
Yeah, I landed here January 29th.
That's amazing.
I became a regular February 19th on my 30-something birthday.
Well, if Mitzi caught you at the right time.
She caught me at the right time. And everybody kept saying to me, has Mitzi seen you?
That's amazing.
Has Mitzi seen you? So I didn't really go through the whole thing. So now let's go back to that area. That era was hard at the store. I had to follow Mooney every night and Dave Tyree and a bunch of crazy people. After 11, it got crazy in there. Mm-hmm. And then Holtzman would go on and clean the house. And, it was just a different... I saw the 3 different phases of the store.
Yeah.
Then we saw the other phase with that fucking Mutt LaRange and his little crew. And I didn't go there for 7 years. And then came the Adam fucking era, which was pretty fucking goddamn special.
Pretty special.
It got so special that it got overly special. Like, Tuesday nights were fucking just... Like, you had to go down there prepared for war. Like, Tuesday nights, when you ever see, like, Rambo before he's going to go somewhere, or the Expendables, they always see him sharpen their knives and setting all their equipment up and shit, like, before they go to war, Bradley Cooper and the sniper. That's how we were on Tuesday nights. Like, we had to sharpen our fucking knife. You had to take your alpha brain. You didn't get high all day. Like, Tuesdays, you had to go down there and bring it, bitch.
Yeah, you had to
It was pretty
jump
fucking
rope.
interesting. And it became, but then on the other side of that, it started becoming monotonous for me. It was like I was on the road or I was at the comedy store. I was on the road or I was at the comedy store, I was at home. I didn't do anything else for like 3 or 4 fucking years. Am I mad at that? No. I wish I would have gone to more parties, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe more concerts. I wish I would have done some more stuff. When I went to New York last year to shoot The Sopranos, I saw my friends. And I saw how they lived now and who they were now. And we met every night. We went to a different great restaurant for dinner. And at 8:45, they'd be yawning. And I'd be happy as fuck that they were yawning because I'm just as fucking tired. We're not kids no more. And we would go our separate ways, and I'd go back to my hotel, and I'd go, that was tremendous. And that's what you do now.
Yeah.
But I went out every night with a different one to a different restaurant. And everybody has families. It just became something different for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to go somewhere else. I would go to Texas with you in a heartbeat. You know me, dog. I love you to death. But I want to go home. I want to eat this. I want to go to somebody's house and have the Feast of the 7 Fishes. Okay? I'm sick and tired of eating this shit for the last... Remember, I've been gone for 30 years, kid. I've been gone since 83. I went back for 18 months of homelessness and then 9 months in 93 to become a comic, to do open mics with Mike Bichetti at the New York Comedy Club across the street from where Castellano got shot. I played the game, dog. Then I went back to Colorado and got into fucking, with the X and the bop and the fucking smacking the guy and then getting thrown out. And I ended up in Seattle and then 2 years there. And then Stanhope lured me down here. Then I got a developmental deal. And
How'd Stanhope lure you down here?
I did New Year's with him.
Where at?
In Seattle, 96 to 97. He's like, you're wasting your time up here. He goes, you're ready. But I had worked with him like the time before that. So he's like, I got bunk beds, you're wasting your time. And I go, you know what? I got to go down there to shoot a pilot anyway. CBS is paying me like 20 grand.
How'd they find you?
Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving in Seattle.
What were you doing?
I was on stage at the
And someone
at
from
the
CBS
Underground.
wanted you to do something?
He was from Seattle, and
Wow.
he went home for the holidays. And I got off stage, and the guy's like, listen, I've been looking for a guy like you for 3 weeks. Can you read? Yeah, okay. Meet me tomorrow. I'm going to put you on tape. I got a pilot because we want you to be... It was really fucked up. They wanted my character to be Spanish, but they didn't want him to look Spanish. It was CBS's answer to NYPD Blue. It was a show called Bronx something. And I came down, and I was the worst actor in the world. I started out with like 19 pages. All the cops and DAs would come into the bar, and I would chit-chat, give them information, sell shit. And every day that I went and rehearsed, every day they took a page out. Every day they took a page out. I went down there. By the time they shot the pilot, I had no lines. I just nodded. I was terrible. I was snorting coke. I'd never been to an acting class before. I was staying up till 6 in the morning, going there at 8. What's his name was the director?
What's his name?
The guy who played the doctor. You got to think about this one because he's big time. He played a doctor in the movie with Tom Cruise, with the naked women. When the chick has a heart attack, he's fucking a young chick, and Tom Cruise has to help him with the chick because the chick is dead. He's a big time motherfucker. And then he played
What movie is
What
that?
is that movie?
What's that fucking movie?
God damn
Vanilla
it.
Sky, Vanilla Sky.
What is it?
Vanilla Sky. Oh, yeah.
No. What's the movie?
I never saw Vanilla Sky.
What's the
great.
movie with
I heard
Tom
it's
Cruise
Yeah.
where he sneaks into the party and there are a bunch of freaks? He's married to the fucking Australian chick at the time,
Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman, and him and Nicole Kidman have a fight. So he
Eyes
goes,
Wide Shut.
Oh, yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut. Who played the doctor?
That's the Kubrick one.
That's a brilliant
Yeah.
movie. But whoever played the doctor, that he has the girl all coked up. All right. He also played the doctor, you ready? To Johnny Sack in The Sopranos.
Really?
He was the one that kept saying, I shot my wife, the mailman, and I was already going down, so I shot the maid too. He was the doctor, and he turns his shades, and he goes, he tells him, Dr. Friedman,
There he
that
is.
guy,
That guy.
he directed me in this. And he loved me in the beginning, and at the end, he wouldn't even look at me. He would just shake his head. I didn't know how to fucking act.
It's hard.
How can you put me on CBS? I've been doing comedy 6 years.
Some people can just fucking do it.
Then I got it. No, then I got it doing it more. But that was the first time. Like, they say action, I go, what?
It's crazy when like an athlete does it. Like an athlete, and then they're really good. You're like, Jesus Christ! Like, how hard is it to act? This guy just came off the fucking bench. Like, there's a lot of athletes have done like. Who else has done like amazing jobs? The athlete thing is weird, right? Because at least comedians.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Fucking rappers really
Yeah.
stole the game. Queen
Rappers, for
Latifah,
sure.
Ice-T, Ice Cube
Yes.
wrote fucking Friday.
Right. They're the
I mean,
best
are you
example.
fucking crazy?
Actors are the best example. Or excuse me,
Rappers,
rappers.
tremendous.
Rappers are the
no
best
acting
example.
classes, no nothing.
Yeah.
They just took it by the horns. They know how to act.
Wait, no one's better than them.
Tupac.
Stop
Tupac,
and think about it. Like, think about how many rappers, high-level rappers, became high-level actors.
Bro, Tupac
There's
made
no-
some weird movies, Joe.
Juice?
He made him, huh?
Juice?
Which one's Juice?
Wasn't he in Juice? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Juice? What about the one where he played a
Forgot about
junkie with the guy and the hot black chick?
How crazy is that Tupac was a huge movie star as well as a huge rap star at the same time?
I loved him
Poetic
in
Justice.
Oh, he was tremendous in Poetic Justice.
Dude, he did a lot
He
of movies.
tortured Janet
Oh,
Jackson.
did you ever see Bullet with Mickey Rourke?
Yes.
That was one of the most ridiculous movies of all time.
Terrible. What's
But
the
it was
one he-
interesting to see the two of them together.
Yeah,
that was Mickey
what's
Rourke was
above the rim?
jacked. Did you ever see how big Mickey Rourke was in that movie? Yeah. Go to that movie. Like there's videos of it. Like Mickey Rourke in a tank top. He was fucking jacked.
And the guy next to him with the white shirt, that guy was married to Tracy Lords.
They're
You know
holding
him.
hands.
That's your buddy, George. Joe. That's your buddy, Joe.
I don't know who that guy
Yes,
is.
you were with them one night at the store.
No,
He's
I
married
don't
to
know
Tracy
him.
Lords.
I might have
You were
said hi
playing
to
the
him.
drums and jumping up and down with him.
What are you
talking
talking
about?
about?
Vitamin supplements. What's his fucking name?
I don't know the guy.
Yeah, Joe, don't lie to me. He
No,
was
I'm
talking
not
to you
lying
about.
to you.
Look right there.
Where?
That guy was one of the best looking men
He's a
that
handsome
ever
guy.
fucking was in that movie with Mickey Rourke.
It says
he's fucking. He's his
That's just
brother.
the photographer.
Oh.
He's his brother, and he's fucking two chicks in a disco. I saw that guy at a couple.
Who is he?
That guy walking the dog. Find out what his name is, Jamie, please,
Why-
sir.
You keep
That's Mickey Rourke.
No, that's
the
not
other
Mickey
guy that
Rourke.
he's holding
Photographer,
hands
bud.
with.
Go down with
the
down.
guy he's holding hands
Sante.
with.
Go down with down.
You should show it if I go here. It should
That's
show both
no
their names.
Armand Desante. That guy.
That's Sante.
It's not showing his name. I don't know. I'll find it.
Okay.
He came to the store.
That's a bold
one,
move. Look at the half-crop shirt.
He came to the store one night. He played Mickey Rourke's brother in this movie.
Bullet.
And the other thing was that he was married to Tracy Lords. John Enos. That good-looking motherfucker. Well, he ain't that good-looking no more. But in this movie, you would suck his dick. He was like,
Back in '96.
yeah, he was fucking smoking. He was very, very good-looking.
This is a strange movie.
Dangerous.
Very strange movie. Is that dude? Who is that? That guy Ben, the guy who's driving the car? What the fuck's
He
his
won an
name?
Academy Award years later.
It's Adrian Brody.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay.
Everything was going
Yeah.
good. They did a 7-Up commercial. And they told him to get the fuck out of here. How do you win an Academy Award and do like a Shasta commercial?
Is that what happened?
Something weird
They
happened
shut him
with
down
Shasta.
after he did a Shasta
I did
commercial.
something. I don't know.
That's
I'm
all
just
you have?
joking.
I don't know, man.
You got another blunt for your Uncle
Yes,
Joe?
of course I do.
Thank you, brother.
You could have some of mine.
No, I'm all right, because that corona test was tremendous.
I got one right here, Jimmy.
Just that swab in your nose. I know she took things out of my nose that would
we have to
needed
find
go.
out. Let's find out what's keeping you going. Make sure everything's.
I did
everybody's
the
okay.
antibodies test, but then a dentist told me, she goes, Joey, the antibodies is no good.
The FDA approved one is good. It shows
Because-
you whether or not you've had it.
It's a respiratory illness. It
Yes.
shouldn't be in your blood, so that's what.
Oh,
that's
well,
why
she-
she said. That's why I did the swab, to be honest with you. And I didn't want to faint. I faint at the weirdest moments, Joe.
Yeah, but that's not real. Whatever she just said, that's not true.
Okay,
Like
whatever.
it's
Who
in
gives-
your blood for
who
sure.
gives- everybody's Fauci now. Who gives a
No,
fuck?
the best
Where's
way to
the
find
lighter?
out right in front of you. Right in front of you.
Thank you,
Right
brother.
there. The best way to find out apparently is you draw blood and then they do an analysis of the blood. But the pinprick is FDA approved and the swab lets you know if you have like recent infections.
And I got to tell you right here, because you know I'm a man's man,
I know you're a man's man.
and I tell you the truth all the time.
I know you do.
I made jokes about Dana White's Fire Island. I want to apologize to him because look, he did it right. The bubble
did.
worked.
Yeah.
And now he looks like a hero. The bubble worked. And unless everybody adheres to the bubble, then it's not going to work for him.
Well, film
You
crews
have-
are figuring it out now too.
You haven't
They're
heard
doing
from
it now.
Tyler Perry any complaints.
No.
But have you don't check your fucking junk email. I do lately because I get all the SAG emails. And I got to tell you something. You got to read this SAG shit.
Like what they have to do.
Yeah, that's why a lot of them, and they're trying to do it fucking, men's amort. And people are showing up going, this ain't going to work, dog.
Yeah.
This ain't going to work. Tyler Perry already puts you in a bubble. He picks you up at Van Nuys. You get hired. You go do a test. 16 days from when they pick you up in Van Nuys. Then you go to Van Nuys Airport. They give you another test. You get on a personal plane. You fly to Atlanta. When you get off the plane, they do it again. Quarantine for 24 hours. And then you're put into 3 groups. Group A, Group C, Group B. You can't mingle with B or C. And you got access to a mall, a hotel, workout, little area outside. Everybody's social distancing. Not one fucking complaint. But everybody's doing it. When I found this out, I got pissed off. This is my life. I've been paying dues, just like you. I don't want to do movies, and I don't want to do TV, but I got to finish this movie. I thought that I read something in the LA Times that said that by adding COVID to movies, it's going to add $1 million to the budget. Like, it's going to cost $1 million to do it properly. Sorry.
Jesus.
Which is
Joe,
which
can't
is.
cough on Brian. It's
I didn't cough
2020.
on Brian. I coughed on my fucking hand.
Have a courtesy hat.
So, for you to shoot a real movie like that, you have to have 2 nurses doing COVID tests.
Yeah.
You
They're
know
gonna
what-
get
you know
better.
what they're
They got
doing?
one at the
You know
White
what
House that
you know
takes
what they-
20 minutes.
You know what they're doing?
What?
They're hiring fucking out-of-work actors to get certified online. Then they put them on the set to do COVID test and fucking, separating. Can't do that. I pay dues. I want a fucking nurse there, bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the problem is if you catch it and you are not healthy, you don't have a good immune system, you're older, you're compromised, maybe you got some sort of a condition already, it's not good. So asking people to work where there's a 1 out of 10 chance or 1 out of 20 chance or whatever the number is that you might catch it, that's a new ask. That never was the question. The question was, hey, do you want to work at UPS? I'm like, how much does it pay? What are the hours? Okay, I'll do it. It wasn't like, you might die. Like, you might catch this disease that you die from. It's not likely, but everyone knows someone who at least knows someone who died from it. So it's like, fuck, how bad do I want this job? Or you could stay home and take $600 from the government or whatever it is. Most people are going to take that money. You're going to downsize your life and just figure out a way to save money. Because if you worked at a supermarket, it used to be you just worked at a supermarket. It didn't used to be you come in contact with someone that might have something that can kill you. And it's killing people. Not a lot, but that does not give you any comfort when you're lying there with tubes in your nose. If you're one of those people that gets it and gets it real bad, like Michael Yo, and you're in a hospital and you think you might be going.
Michael Yo, Jeffrey Guran, Frankie Big Balls, and Chris were sitting in the green room together that Friday night.
They all got it.
Except Chris.
He didn't get it?
No.
Really?
Jeffrey got it, hospitalized. Big Ball Pete, Lisa Lampanelli's ex, great guy, he got it. I think he was hospitalized. And as his last blog I read from him, he was on oxygen treatment.
Jesus.
And Michael Yo got it.
Michael Yo was here months later, and he said he was still struggling with fatigue. So he looked great. When I saw him, if you saw him, you would think, oh, he's 100% recovered. Like, he looked like he's ready to go do a triathlon. But he said no. He said he still gets tired easy. He doesn't feel the same.
That's the fucked up shit.
Yeah. This is weird. So, like, I get it, man. I get people not wanting to work. I fucking get it. I'm not saying people should go back to work. I'm saying people should have the option. And
like
I know,
teachers.
Yeah, everybody, man, everybody should have the option. Everybody should have the option. This is not a normal time. It's not like this is not a normal. It's not a normal scene.
So if you don't want to work, how much does the government have to give you a week?
It's a good question. This should be an honest discussion. We should figure out how much money is
does
necessary.
Does your rent get paid?
Yeah, that's the rent thing.
That's the rent thing I want to know.
You can't just have people broke like this for 5 months and not even let them work. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing people that everyone has a hair trigger. Everybody's ready to go off. That's not good for any of us.
No.
It's not a smart
and
way to do it.
And you look at the restaurants, and the restaurants are open. You and I try to support restaurants. Fucking tacos,
3-4 times a day. Oh yeah, tacos 90.
Oh my God!
Brian's like, I abused my body just to support them.
No, tacos 1986.
Oh my God, Joe
just
Rogan.
opened up in Burbank. It's
That's
amazing.
our shit. That's our shit. So
Listen,
I
love restaurants.
I try to support the local restaurants, but I know they're making ugats.
They're not making much.
They're making dick. They're keeping the employees open. That's why I tip as much as I can.
Jamie just handed me Biden announced Harris for VP.
Okay.
Kamala Harris. The fearless fighter for the little guy. One of the country's finest public servants as my running mate. They might win. She's a powerful lady.
Can you click on her name?
She's very good at talking. Yeah, she was that lady that she got into it with Tulsi Gabbard at the
I don't know
primaries.
about these people, Joe Rogan. I know that Biden
one of them might be the vice president of the United States.
And I think that fucking Trump won the election on Saturday when he gave people money, because money talks and bullshit walks. If I get a check in the mail from Trump for $600, he bought my vote right now.
The thing about it is, though, I don't think I think it relies on the state paying 25%.
And the state
States
of
like
California is
money.
bankrupt.
Yeah, they're like, we
what
don't
are you
have
talking
any money,
about
bro.
the other day? 50%. You had me all scared to death.
Well, you add up the state income tax with the federal income tax, it's in the neighborhood of 54%.
That's what it's going to
with
go
an
up to?
increase. Yes, the increase that California wants to do. Look, they're trying to figure out a way to buy the way out of some of the problems that we have. I get it. I don't know what the fuck they should do. I'm a moron. I shouldn't be the mayor or the governor. I am not going to do it. It's not in my wheelhouse. I would not balance the budget. I would not. I'm not a pay attentioner. It's not me, man. I got things to do. I'm worried about space. All right. I'm not worried about your budget. But somebody has to do it, and they have to do it right. And giving them more money is not going to. It's not going to fix it. They need a fucking real plan. No one's telling us how to get out of this economically. No one's telling us how to get out of this health-wise.
Everybody's bitching.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we've been caught with our pants down. I'm not mad at anybody. I can't really be mad at anybody because everybody got caught with their pants down. How we've handled it at times is kind of weird.
It's not just that. It's not just that. We look vulnerable as a nation because we handled it stupid. we had a big giant surge again. It's like we were doing real well. Everything was trending down. Then we have a big giant surge again. Now people are going out. Now places that weren't getting it are getting it again. We didn't do such a good job. It's not, and the problem is if the country's locked up, and we basically are, a big percentage of everybody's locked down, and we're economically fucked, and we're scared to do things. So we're like probably not that healthy. We're not as healthy as we normally are. And there's not as much money, and people aren't working well. Well, this is not a strong country then. Like the country's only strong if everything's strong. Like the economy's strong, the military's strong, the government's strong. When the economy's fucked and the people are unhealthy, like that's the backbone of the whole country. This is a vulnerable country. That's where it gets weird. We don't ever want to think that. We're like, oh, we don't have to worry about that anymore. But of course we do. That's history. History is countries taking over countries. History is countries figuring out a way to dominate other countries. Who knows what they're doing today to each other? I mean, we hear about like Russian interference. Who knows what kind of fucking viruses we have
Oh,
on
that
our
mail-in
computers
fucking thing is going to be a party and a half. That is the biggest scam in the fucking world. That is the biggest fucking scam in the world. Already the post office is running fucking behind. Never mind all those ballots. That's a scam and a half. That's a scam and a half, and it's terrible.
I wonder what the best way to do it is, though. What if it turns out the post office is the best way to do it? Like maybe it takes more time, but maybe they're better at it.
Oh, bro, you never stuffed boxes for $20 and looked the other way?
No, I never stuffed boxes
I
for
stuffed
$20.
boxes. I had stuffed boxes.
No.
Bro, I grew up in North Bergen, New Jersey.
What do you mean by stuffed boxes?
I grew up in North Bergen, New Jersey. I was a Cuban kid that stumbled upon a fight one day and stuck up for an Italian kid, and they made me part of their family. But the other part of their family was that they were political. And he was the other side of the wing for politics. Remember, there's a mayor, and he shows up with a guy like you that's intelligent, but then he also has a guy like me. And I do weird things for him. I let people know what the mayor wants done.
Yeah.
And I got to be I was that guy's son.
Oh.
I was his son. I became his son. Then his son died, and I really became his son. So I didn't know what I was doing. He would just go light this on fire. And put $50 in your pocket, and that's all I went and did. You know what I'm saying? He told me to go pick up this. I went and picked this up. He told me to go do this. I still remember how I met most of my friends today were from that election.
Wow.
The 76 election, column A and column B. And I mean, they were battling on the street. I don't have to tell you about Jersey knuckleheads.
Yeah.
You know, we were throwing rocks at each other, and then at night we were paid to go rip down your signs. And then the next night, your people rip down our signs. And then whoever puts a sign of each one on, we all have a fucking memory of that. So if I side with Joe Rogan in North Bergen and Joe Rogan loses, I might as well pack my bags because they're going to demote me from a teacher to a janitor. That's how they get you in Jersey, dog.
So they would all put signs on their lawn for the guy that they support. Let everybody know. This
tell-
is the way
listen,
you're my friend?
they tell you.
Spalding. You
They-
vote for Harry Spalding.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
They come to your house, they knock on your door, and they tell you who you're going to vote for. Listen, you're going to vote for these guys. It's going to be fine. We'll take care of you. Your brother-in-law needs a job, the retard, right?
Sounds like a nightmare place to live, by the way.
That,
I would hate this.
you think
What are you doing? Get off my
That's-
porch. Get away from me.
that's...
And Joey, you're moving back to this?
No. That's Hudson County politics. That's how it used. Listen, in Hudson County, Jamie, if you'd like to verify, no mayor in Hudson County has ever just vacated. They've all either been put in prison or died. Every mayor. The active mayor in North Bergen now is very good. He has changed the town. His name is Mayor Sacco. He's very good. Very good. That town is clean, Bobby. Cameras everywhere. You do something, there's a curfew at night. Very clean. In fact, they just had a write-up about the New York Times where most of the people are moving to. It's my hometown, North Bergen, then down the hill, Edgewater. You know who lives in Edgewater?
Isn't that Frankie Edgar?
No.
He's in Tom's River,
He's
right?
in Tom's River. Hey, you know who lives in Edgewater?
Who?
Name a rapper.
Jay-Z?
Name a rapper.
He lives there?
Ice-T.
Really?
Naughty by Nature.
Ice-T
all
does
the Knicks,
that
all
cop
the
show
Nets,
still.
all the baseball players live in Edgewater.
Oh.
So it's right above Edgewater. All that Hudson County, Hoboken, where Gino's a cop and all that.
Oh, okay.
That's Hudson County. They
Okay.
play by their own rules, G. They do it a different way, and you got to pick a side. You got to pick a side, and if you don't pick a side and that side loses, boom, you got to live in that hometown to work in that
Oh,
hometown.
no. And then they fuck with you.
It's a
You
whole...
went with the wrong side.
But it's tremendous. It's a way to keep everybody in line. Everybody knows where they stand. Once you go, you go.
Those guys that put their hand on the back of your neck, those guys that tell you,
Oh yeah.
this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this, okay? And they're holding the back of your neck. You're like, what kind of conversation is this? Like, you're not squeezing my neck yet, but it seems like, what happens if I don't vote for this guy?
Bro,
Like-
one of the most interesting ones that you've never watched, but you should read about, I think Jamie has watched, is season 2 of Narcos, when they rigged the election in Mexico. And they try to do it with the computer and they get busted. And then they actually just sent narcos to the fucking voting stations. They put a gun to your head and go, put another 0 next to that number.
Whoa.
In 1987, the elections in Mexico were so fucking crooked because the government that was coming in was going to side with the United States, and that could never happen. They were going to lose millions of dollars. So that government had to win. And when you watch it play out in the series, you're like, but when you read about it, you're like, what the fuck? They caught him red-handed. It's like you catching me taking this, and you going, Joey, that's mine. Yeah, bye. And walking out of here. Like, it was that cold-blooded of an election. The fucking guy had to resign years later, but it was that brutal. Because they figured they weren't going to win the election in Mexico City. So they went to all these farmer places, and all those motherfuckers got beat up. So forget about Mexico City. We're going to lose Mexico City. It was, what's the name of La Pira? The PRI. The PRI is an organization. Tremendous storyline on how they needed that government to win so they could keep getting drugs into this country. And how the CIA was even involved in that election, but it was the narcos who went out to the small villages and fucking put guns to your head, put a 0 on that number.
It is one of the craziest things about being an American is that we're connected to a country that's feeding us drugs and is run by cartels. And everybody's like, shh.
Bro, they had a town in Mexico during this that the cartel said if they saw you on the streets without a face mask, they'd shoot you.
They've
Because
done that in other
it
countries.
was
yeah.
such a small village
yeah.
that it would have destroyed the village. So the narcos got involved and said, if you go out without a face mask, we'll put a bullet in your head.
There's something about people who have power, whether it's you're the mayor or the governor or you're the narcos or you're a cop, something about people having that kind of power over your life like that with just a finger on the trigger, it's too much for most people to handle. It's too much. Most people can't handle it. That's what you're saying, dude. Most people should not have the ability to just shoot you. You can't shoot them, but they can shoot you. If you don't listen, they can shoot you. If you're running away, they can shoot you. You come at them with a taser, they can shoot you. Like,
They need to like make a freeze gun where you could just freeze them.
that's not a bad idea.
Joe Rogan, nobody could call a
It's
cop's
just shoot 'em.
life until you're a fucking cop.
It's too
You know,
hard to understand what that
It's too hard
job's
to
like.
understand entails.
Yeah.
You know why I started going to jiu-jitsu? So I could watch the UFCs and not feel guilty. Because nothing bothers me more when I see a blogger or an announcer that's never done a jumping jack. And he's trying to cover the UFC. Nothing bothers me more than that. So I want you to understand, I grew up with guys that were cops. I talked to them. I saw how they had to blow steam off because of the things they saw. Yeah, they used their power. They fucked around. They were all bad lieutenants, if you want to call it. But the job itself, unless you're doing it, man, it's weird.
That's so weird.
It's a weird job.
You live in a different world than everybody else.
Do I appreciate police? Listen, I've been arrested. How many times have I been arrested?
A million.
I never had
You've been arrested a million times.
I never had a problem.
1,000,000.1.
Never had a problem with a cop. I even had a cop pull over the Chinese restaurant one time and let me get food handcuffed because I hadn't
Well,
eaten
you got
all day.
good cops and you're a good guy.
Okay,
and
that's
you,
number
you,
three.
You
number
charmed
three.
them.
I've never said the word pig on any podcast. When I went to jail on my own accord. It was my problem.
Yeah.
I've never given a cop a problem. When they interrogated me, I'll light you on fire. If you want to get interrogated, you interrogate me. I'll talk to you about the Cuban Missile Crisis. I'll get you. Bro,
pigs.
Those two white dudes in Boulder, I had them confused to death. I had them confused to death. I was taking them on psychological rides. Let me tell you something. The one cop I faced on Facebook and started torturing him.
Oh, what is he? Some dumb dude try to interrogate you?
He lives in Telluride, and he was involved in the John Benet Ramsey case. So when I mentioned his name on a podcast one time, people started sending me messages. They go, we go to school with his kid. His kid's a fucking moron, right? So, they're like his kid became a criminal, but the dad has gotten him out of trouble all his life. The kid's a fucking criminal. So they told the same people from Facebook hit me one day. They go, "Your buddy, the cop, retired." So I sent them an email. Hey, on Facebook. Hey, listen, congratulations on your retirement. Check out Joey Diaz on YouTube, cocksucker. And I know he read it, but he didn't fucking reply. You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
I put him, dog. Listen to what I did to that dude. There was two of them, all right? There was a big white dude that, the white dude, this is the fucking crazy thing. I was not wanted, but I was questioned on a credit card situation in August of '85. Somebody had destroyed that mall with a credit card, and somebody said I fit the description. So these two cops with uniforms kept asking me questions. I worked at Foot Locker, and they keep showing up every day. Can we talk to you? Yeah, the jewelry store said it's you. Listen, pretty soon, they didn't have cameras then, Joe.
Oh.
So they kept saying, pretty soon we're going to start getting a receipt, and you're going to have to go in for whatever. And they would come in every day and shake me down. And I would go, guys, if I was a fucking credit card thief, would I be working at Foot Locker? So I was just buying time. I knew they were going to catch me eventually. That one cop even came to my house on a Sunday night, knocked on my door, and said, we're getting the jean sizes tomorrow. You might as well turn yourself in. I'm like, dog, you got a warrant, get the fuck off my doorstep. That morning, I went to San Francisco. A year later, I get arrested for kidnapping. He gets promoted to detective. He doesn't remember me from the credit card thing. The whole time I'm sitting there going, when is this fucking cop gonna remember me from the credit card thing? So you gotta remember, I turned myself in. When I turned myself in, dog, and I pressed that buzzer and they opened that door, all the cops drew their guns on me and said, get on the floor, because I was wanted for kidnapping too. They didn't know what I was packing, what type of person I was, so they handcuffed me, put me in a room that was white, made me wait for a half hour, and then they came in and played their technique, which I've been doing to people all my fucking life. Mm-hmm. I'm the one that would break into Joe Rogan's house and steal one shoe. You ever do that to somebody? You take an ounce of coke and you steal one shoe.
It's horrible.
And that's horrible. And then you steal that one favorite pair of shoes. You take one shoe and you throw it away. That destroys people psychologically. For years, they'll keep looking for that one shoe. What happened? And then every time you see them, you ever find that shoe? No, I fucking searched everywhere.
It's weird as fuck.
Oh, yeah, I'm the fucking dirtiest bastard. I know how to fucking flip-flop you.
So these guys get you in an
They
interrogation
get me
room.
into the interview room and they ask me what's going on, and I'm talking to them. I go, I don't know what happened. The guy showed up. The guy pulled the gun. Next thing you know, I was home. And they're like, so what happened to the guy with the machine gun? I don't know. Did you know him? I don't know. So how did you get there? I had a bike. But you just said you drove. Yeah, I drove to get the bike I was just fucking with them because I wanted to get out because Don Johnson was marrying Sheila Easton on Miami Vice that night. I had to be home by 9. That's all I cared about was this wedding. So I'm fucking with the cops. I'm like, I'm just going to go in there and talk to them, tell them the truth. That, yeah, I went over there, they were selling drugs, and I left. I had nothing to do. What kidnapping? What are you talking about? So we went back and forth for like 6 hours. And I still remember them sitting there, like, with their hands down. And me talking about, like, my uncle came from Cuba in 1952, and he worked for fucking this guy. And they're like, what's this got to do with what we're talking about? Dog, I tormented them. And then I agreed to give the guy information. And I would just give him, like, Redban's driver's plate.
Hey, that's
I swear to God.
Pre-internet.
I would give him Jamie's license plate.
Okay.
Jamie's not a drug dealer. But I would tell him that Jamie was running kilos internationally from Europe. They would go through Jamie's life.
Imagine if Jamie was doing that.
And then they wouldn't find nothing. So they would figure out the fucking Jamie. I was playing them. I was just giving them fake license plates.
How long did you do this for?
6 months. They thought they would leave. This guy, I'm telling you, he runs big coke from Colombia. He knows the Ochoa brothers. No, yeah.
So you were just making up this crazy narrative and feeding it to these yokels.
I was tormenting these 2 cops. But the one cop wasn't going for it. He didn't like me personally. And,
of course.
I let him know that I didn't like him personally.
It's a movie.
It was a fun. I let him know that I hated him more than when he hated fucking me. That's what I did. I let him know that I hate him more. And every time we went to court, he would sit there across from me. But I had a good attorney, and it was burning him up because he wanted me for kidnapping. But I'm like, nah, dog, you didn't find no fingerprints on nothing. Sorry, Charlie, not this time. So he was chomping at the thing. He went to all the hearings and said that, and they're like, we don't see nothing else on the record. So if there's nothing else on the record, this is you against him. No, doesn't work that way. He kept saying I was violent. I was going to kill the community. He was one of those white evangelist type guys. He even was so mad at me that he joined forces with my ex-wife in court afterward for like child hearings and shit like that. That's how crazy it got.
Oh my God.
He was there when I went off one day, Cuban style. And that's the last time I saw him.
Cuban style.
Oh, one day.
Ricardo.
The last time I went to court, remember, the last time I went to court with my wife, it was the same judge that sentenced me.
Oh no.
Only he was in civil court now. But here's the beauty. I kept writing him letters every month because that's the type of motherfucker I am.
You write him letters?
From the minute I got sentenced to jail.
What do the letters say?
How you doing, Judge Bellapani? My name is Joey Diaz. Thank you for your sentence. I'm starting to learn what it's all about to be a man. For the last 28 years, I've been running amok. Every month on the 1st, he got a letter from me. When I got out of jail, I doubled up. I got a job as a car salesman. I really enjoy it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Did he ever write you back?
Never.
Wow.
Never. But I wrote him letters. I got out of jail February of 89. I wrote him letters. I went in front of him in May of 95. And he was a civil judge, and I was still writing him letters. I told him I was trying comedy. I was getting divorced. My wife was breaking my balls. We end up in court in front of him. The fucking boyfriend's got a stake over his eye because I smacked him because he called me a spick. So I smacked him in the face at Safeway. So they're trying to get me for assault. Oh, yeah. Tremendous afternoon.
And what does the judge say?
And the judge goes, number one, you got to throw your case out because it's a city limits of Boulder. You can't use a racial slur. If you use a racial slur in the city limits
Someone
of
could
Boulder,
just beat your ass?
you get it's called the J.J. Flanagan law.
Oh.
And number two, then he attacked my wife. He was like, listen, you fucking come back in here again with this shit, it's contempt of court. And then,
So all those years of writing paid off?
all those years. So my wife got mad, the ex got mad, and on the walk out of there was when I did something that to this day I regret. It was that bad, like how bad I went off. But it was 4 years of getting tortured. Think of you torturing me for 4 years. I'm financially done. I'm financially ruined. I'm trying to feature, and I'm getting heat because I'm dirty.
Oh, I remember those days.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything, like I was.
That's the hard road, right?
So I was featuring in dirty bars, but they would make me MC at the clubs, and they made me work clean and read the announcements and shit.
And some comics.
You know, and they would just
Some comics didn't want you on the show.
So a lot of comics didn't want me on the show. You know, I wasn't that. No, I wasn't throwing heat then. No, I just was doing well. I was holding my
but Joey,
own.
even when I met you in the beginning, you were dirty.
Yes.
But for some people, that's like a deal breaker.
I went clean for the first 3 years, and it wasn't me. I was trying to be Lenny Clark with a suit. I mimicked Lenny Clark first, but I liked Bill Hicks, and I love Richard Pryor.
Shout out to my friend Lenny. Lenny had a bit of a medical situation come up.
Send him my love. I knew he was on the show
doing better
with
now. Yeah, he's gone through some medical problems. He's a good man.
He's a very good man. I met him at the store, and I told him exactly how I felt and why I wore a suit the first 3 years of my career, but it didn't work.
Because of him?
Because of him.
I opened up for him the second time I ever got paid. First time I got paid, Warren McDonald took me on the road. Did a shitty gig in the middle of nowhere. Second time I got paid, I did Jay's in Pittsfield, opening up for Lenny Clark, and I couldn't believe it. Lenny Clark, who I saw on TV, and I'm hanging out with him and his brother. And his brother wound up giving me gigs. Mike Clark, still a good friend to this day. That was 31 years ago. Love that guy.
How crazy has his journey been?
It's crazy. I worked for Mike Clark once in a restaurant where you'd be in the middle of your set and the fucking PA system would take over your microphone. Johnson, party to your table's ready. They would cut you in the middle of your set, and I didn't know it until I got on stage. So I'm on stage talking to the crowd, and it just became the funniest part of the act. Was just making fun of how pathetic my life is. I'm at a fucking fish restaurant down the Cape, and in the middle of talking, my bits get cut off by people getting announced that their table's ready.
Well, it's like those car shows. People just start honking their horns. It's like, all right,
Like
can
Bert's?
somebody kick out this
Bert said
horn?
they don't do that. He said they do that like at the end when they're laughing at stuff.
No, there's a lot of like amateur open mic versions of them and stuff like that.
Oh.
And that's like, you got people just blasting their horn.
Mark Norman said it best. Mark Norman's a very smart man. He said it best. He said, "This is methadone comedy." He goes, I want my fix, man. He goes, I want the real deal. I don't want this fucking park comedy. He said he said he bombed in a park and he actually heard crickets, real crickets.
Oh, God. That's hilarious.
You know what, dog? You know what? I worked real fucking hard. My joke gig was I worked on Wednesday nights in an Italian restaurant where the guy was the cook, but he was also an Elvis impersonator. And he had been an Elvis impersonator for 20 years in Vegas. He met Elvis. He was the worst Elvis impersonator. He was Italian. He was 150 pounds overweight. So he would bring you the food, and then he would turn into Elvis. I would go up on stage and do 10, and then he would go up there and just put Elvis music on and sing over it. That was my fifth year in comedy. I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? Every Wednesday night, that was my 10 o'clock gig. It was like 12 people in the restaurant. And he would go up there and sing his own, "It's Now or Never."
Oh, my God.
And he was fucking terrible. And then I would have to sit throughout the whole show. He would give me spaghetti and meatballs to take home, which I don't have to tell you. At that level, it's like a steak. It's breakfast and lunch the next day.
Yeah.
So I had to sit through his whole set. God forbid he did an encore. Every time he did an encore, I would get a heartburn for an hour. Please finish the song. So I went through that shit, That was... I love all those stories. I love those stories.
Those terrible gigs, they make you better. They make you better. But you can't live on a steady diet of them. It's like, here's the deal. Like, you can't do deadlifts with 500 pounds every day. You'll break your fucking back. You'll tear your knees apart. You rip your shoulders apart. But you can do it every now and then. You got to give your body enough time to recover and actually improve. If you do those fucking terrible hell gigs every single night, it changes your act. You get armored. You lose your ability to like take pauses. You lose your ability to like set up a point and then like really hit it home hard. Like change tempos. You have to keep on them. Bang, 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 bang. Drunk bars. You got to keep on them. Bang, bang, bang. Which is fine, but it's not. You shouldn't do it all the time.
No, but I used the Uncle Joey CoCo Diaz method, which was I had an 11:45 at the store, which meant I was really going up at 12:15. I was a Coke junkie. There was no way I was going to hold off till 12:15.
Are you doing math?
So, no, I got to write the plan out so people see that there's a method of my fucking madness, okay? So in those days, Felipe Esparza had a room, Willie Barcena had a room. All those guys had bar rooms. And I knew in those days that I had to prepare 2 different sets. I had to have my bar set, which was pretty basically dirty, and then you had to go a cappella because sometimes you got to go up during the Laker game.
Yes.
You're not going to turn off a Laker game in Orange County. They love Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
but you ain't going to turn off a Laker game.
Yeah. Or
just not gonna
the
happen.
Bruins back in Boston. It was the
Yeah,
Bruins.
it's not going to happen. So you got to wait for the Laker game to go on. You know how many of those George Perez, Fly, I still shout those guys out. Rudy Moreno, all those guys had early gigs for us that fed us, gave you $50, $60, and then you killed time. You stopped at King Taco, and then you got to the store at 11. Joe would be at News Radio till 10:30 rehearsing. You would show up late, and that's when I first met you. You were still rehearsing. Friday nights, you would shoot on Friday nights, and then you would do the spot on Friday night, and I would go on after you, and you were on 11:30. That was not 10:45 days yet.
Yeah.
You were still getting a quarter to 12.
I was very lucky I didn't have a social life. So I could just do, I didn't have friends out here. So I would just do the show and then go to the store and then hang out with those guys. I didn't really know anybody yet. So it was good. I got a lot of work done. But the thing about stand-up is what we had at the store that was really unusual was also what you were talking about with Tuesday nights. It was a murderer's row in a way that I've never seen before. Like every night you would go there, it would be Jesselneck, Eliza, D'Elia, you, Nick Swartzen. It was just murderer after murderer
It
after
really got
murderer.
heavy. Ron White.
Oh my God, Ron White
There
would
was-
come in, destroy.
Ali Wong.
Ali Wong.
As Nancy Dressler, whatever her
Just-
fucking stage name was.
Hey.
Ian Edwards, Owen Smith, Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, bang, 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 bang. Those lineups were fucking death, man. You had to come out guns blazing. And a lot of people got upset at those lineups. They're like, I can't get a spot. I can't get a spot. This is fucked up. And they get mad. You know, I feel like these people don't respect me. And then there's like this talk, we need more women. There was all this talk, we need more this, we need more that. The bottom line is that was a murderer's row. And it was so hard to find a spot. Because what are you going to do? You got Santino, you got Ian Edwards, you got all these people back to back to back to back that are just fucking killers. Killer after killer.
Where's the Spotify lighters?
Where's
Where's the
Yeah,
go
that's
one?
not even a Bic. What is that?
This is from
I
Gino.
want a Spotify
Oh,
lighter.
This is a
I mean,
speedweed
yeah,
lighter.
I want a Spotify
It must have
lighter.
lasted
You know
Look,
what I'm
you
saying?
gotta. You'd probably turn this volume down. Here, hold on. Oh, it's dead.
No, that
Hey, what kind of whiskey is that, by the way? I mean, that's the closest to
How
tasting a
fucking good is
saddle
that?
I've ever tasted in my life.
This is John. No, that's two different whiskeys. This is Buffalo Trace, is the first stuff we had that you enjoyed, and this another stuff which I
No, I
love
can't.
Sip.
I
Taste
can't.
it.
is
I can't.
Warbringer,
I
the
get
War
paranoid.
Master Edition. This is Josh Barnett's personal whiskey.
It
It's
is,
for men!
That taste is
We got any
like a
lighters?
man cowboy.
How do we have no
I thought there was
lighters
some in
here?
those packs.
How is
but I
that
don't know where the fuck.
I'm gonna go pee real quick.
How is it even possible we don't have lighters in this fucking place?
That's crazy. You don't want to use a Zippo either.
You don't?
No, because you get the fumes from the
Swear to
Zippo
God,
juice.
I had a lighter. How do we not have
We
lighters?
had some, and I gave them to you to hide, I think, and I don't know where
Think
they
they all
went.
get stolen?
He's a good hider. Look inside that skull eye.
I probably hit him so well I stole him from myself. I know. Look in the skull eye. Maybe that's.
Worst, if worst comes to worst, I have one in my car somewhere.
Maybe go to your car because
go
this
to
is not
All
happening.
right.
How crazy is we got to send Redban out to his fucking car in order to get a lighter? So, I think that's the first time you've ever handed me breaking news
I
in the
didn't
middle
know
of
if
a
you wanted
show.
to bring it up.
It is very important. Breaking news.
The news of the. I saw it literally within 45 seconds of him tweeting it out. So I was like, what do I do here?
Maybe she'd be a great president. Let's see. They should just switch positions. People keep telling me, dude, there's nothing wrong with him. He just has a stutter. People keep saying that. Like, everybody at 78 is fucked. Everybody. Who's not fucked at 78? Find me a guy. Find me a guy. When I'm 78, don't take any of my advice. I probably won't know what I'm talking about. I'll probably be high as a kite. Oh, shit, Brian's got a lighter. When I'm 78, I'll be like Tommy Chong. High as a kite, talking shit.
I love Tommy Chong.
I love him, too.
I've been doing comedy in virtual reality, and now it's the closest to feeling like you're in front of people, I thought.
That makes sense. Are you doing it like in Oculus, or is it...
Valve Index. So it's like the
Oh.
best one, good refresh rate.
Can people record you?
Yeah, but I live stream it anyway, so it's...
Oh, there you go.
But it's cool to test out new jokes, because there's like 20 people there, and they laugh, and they react. They're all like, oh, you know, like SpongeBob's excited.
Comedy is different with a small amount of people. There's a good kind of comedy that you can get out of a small amount of people. It's like you get an honest comedy. Because you can't put on like a stupid show for 3 people. You have to you have to really talk to them. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird. But you also don't get those big bits. You're not
Right.
going to develop big bits.
Oh,
in
no,
front
it's
of
all
3
tags.
people.
It's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
tags. It's all like
Yeah.
new ideas and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Sometimes you have good bits. Sometimes bits come from that, though. It depends really entirely on how fun the people are, the audience member. Anybody says that the audience doesn't matter. It's like it's not the audience, it's the comedian. You're fucking crazy. You're crazy. Of course it's the audience, too.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of people together. It's everybody. Like every single interaction between 2 people, unless somebody comes up from behind you and hits you in the head, involves you and them interacting. There's a bunch of, a lot of pieces in place. If there's a fucking group of people and then you're telling jokes, of course it matters who the audience is. Whoever the fuck said that's an idiot. That doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a bad crowd, only a bad comedian. Fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about.
It's funny. There's that Peacock thing. It's an app from NBC, so it's free, and you get like all these old episodes. And so I've been watching old Johnny Carson episodes, and it's weird. The monologue is so interesting. It's like history. Like, oh, we're going through the gas crisis of 1979, or blah blah blah, or blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting just to hear them talking about all that stuff, like the old days and like seeing Richard Pryor on with Betty Davis, like they're smoking cigarettes while they're playing.
Wow.
So it's such an interesting time capsule that is.
Yeah, those days, man, them bell-bottoms days. Bell-bottoms and long collars. People were living different then.
Yeah.
I remember fucking watching Letterman in '82. That was my thing. When I first got turned on to Letterman, a friend of mine turned me on to Letterman. And I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Who's the first comic you saw?
Live?
Yeah.
The first comic I listened to, I can't even fucking say the album cover because I'll get in trouble. I went to my friend's house to listen to the Beatles. And his brother was a junkie. And he came out of the room. I was about 8, maybe 9, and he came out of the room. He goes, "What the fuck kind of music is that shit? The fuck you listening to? Take that shit off." And we're like, "It's the Beatles." He's like, "Fuck the Beatles." And he put on Richard Pryor, the Crazy. And my fucking head went off a swivel, Joe Rogan. Like it just completely went off a swivel. I ran home to the bar and I worked my mom for $5. And I went to the album store. Albums were $4.99, And I just had to get that album. And I went home and played it. I would hide it from my mother because you could put the album down and then put another album on top that was going to drop. So if your mom came in, you automatically dropped. So she couldn't hear. And then I bought Bicentennial, and that put me over the top. Now, there was no dream of me being a comic at this time. I just thought the things he was saying was so fucking me. Like, I wanted to be able to talk like that. I'm Cuban.
Yeah.
I figured if I talked like that, I could influence motherfuckers and win people over. Because I had that little insecurity about being an immigrant. But if I spoke like that and I could be that funny, so I just started mimicking them. And I would bring that album to people's houses and the kids would be 10. And the mothers would catch us. And still today, there's a kid, Ray Canella, his mother's still mad at me for bringing over Richard Pryor. There were like 3 mothers that got mad at me for Lucio Fernandez, that's a committee man in Union City. He told me and my wife we were eating one day, and he goes, "Let me tell you something about your husband. He fucking turned me on to Richard Pryor when we were 10. I remember getting in trouble because I brought the Outlaw. Like, I was that young, already into, and then I got into Red Fox. And then Lenny Bruce got into it. And then I saw Carlin on HBO. And that was tremendous. And then I saw Freddie Prinze. And then I was partial to Freddie Prinze. I related to Freddie Prinze because he was Spanish. So that gave me like hope, like kind of, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like Spanish people could do stand-up. Then he shot himself. And I remember that night, the way, like, I still remember the night that kid killed himself. Like, we didn't get the news like you get it now. Like, I got the news when we were out that night. He had shot himself the night before or the early morning or whatever. But I still remember him getting shot. And
What year was this?
Had to be 74, 75.
I was staying with my grandfather in Newark during the Chico and the Man days. Chico and the Man
followed Sanford and Son.
Exactly.
On Friday night at 8
my
o'clock.
My grandfather loved
during Lent
Sanford
with a
and
white
Son.
pizza? Are you talking to the fucking, with a white pizza? Sanford and Son?
Pull up a picture of Chico and the Man. It was a good fucking show. It was Freddie Prinze.
And the old man.
He was on top of the world, too, man. That was the weird thing.
Oh, my God. He was hosting the Tonight Show. They were grooming him to take over the Tonight Show.
When you hear about a guy like that taking his own life, you're like, there's no way.
And then you and I were driving from Dallas to Houston. We pulled over at a record store and we bought a thing of him live from Chicago, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It was really bad. It was really bad.
Well, the problem
was
was
a different.
Joey,
It was dated.
1973 comedy.
Yeah,
It's
it was
just different.
1973 comedy.
And it's 73 comedy, not Richard Pryor. I mean, there was guys like Richard Pryor that were, to this day, like if you go back and listen to some of Richard Pryor stuff, it still holds up. It still holds up.
And Jose Feliciano sang the tank.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Chico, don't feel sorry, whatever the fuck it is.
I don't remember how it goes, but I remember it. Oh man, I like that show. It just made me real sad. I remember thinking, like, how does someone who's that, he's killing it. He's got his own TV show. He's hilarious, handsome.
Is
got
the
a great
man the
mustache.
guy from Charlie and the Charlie Factory?
I just saw. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, that's not as cool anymore.
Bro,
The man's
these
the
motherfuckers-
old guy laying in bed with other guys.
Dog, these motherfuckers were shooting guns at the Comedy Store. Him and fucking Pryor were shooting guns.
It's that cocaine, man.
That cocaine, those guns. That cocaine, those guns. Think about it. He was hanging out at the Comedy Store at Redban, that kid. And he was at him, Kaplan, they were all at the Comedy Store at that time.
And you got to think, he's also super famous, rich as fuck, 21, and doing coke.
This kid.
Yeah.
How old was he when he died?
Real young. How old was Freddie Prinze when he died? I don't even think it was.
Is Freddie
I don't
Prinze
think he was
Jr. related
30.
at all?
Yes.
Yes, that's his son.
Yeah, that's his son. How old is he?
22. He was
20.
Jesus
22.5.
Christ.
22. Holy shit,
Born in
man.
54.
You know what I still remember that
Holy
night?
shit.
You want me to tell you why I remember that night?
Who?
Want me to tell you why I remember that night
Why?
specifically? Because I had on the way home, it was so fucking cold that I had to cut through the cemetery. And when I was walking through the cemetery, I had to take a shit.
Oh, no.
And I went in front of a fucking casket. The guy had been buried in like 1920. So I go, fuck it, he's got no family left, right? It was freezing, Joe Rogan, freezing. I pull my pants down to my knees, I squat, I take a shit, and I start pissing. And all of a sudden, I go to get up, and I pissed in my own pants. My pants were frozen. I had to walk home like the Tin Man because the piss went right into the fucking pants. So my pants, and I walked in, and my mother was there.
Oh, my God.
And she's like, my mother would do surprise attacks on Friday nights on me, like fucked up. Like she gave me the clearance, but like once a month I get a surprise attack. And that was one of the surprise attacks. That I walked in with pee on me, and she's like, what are we doing here? What do I got to do? What do I got to do? I got to kill another chicken? Are you retarded? Are you
What
fucking
are
retarded?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, like I can't take this no
Your
more.
son walks in with frozen piss all over his pants.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Is the funniest shit you could say.
And
to him.
every time I came home with an idea, my mother turned to Santeria. Like, that's it.
God.
I gotta call you godmother. I can't handle this no more. When I started dressing up like Bruce Lee and I had incense in my room and a bowl of rice,
you
she
have
was
the kung
going
fu
nuts.
clothes?
Oh
Did you have
yeah.
the kung fu
I
outfit
had
with
the
the buttons?
outfit, the white shirt that you folded. I bowed.
There's quite a few dudes
I
who
only
adopted
ate
that
rice. I fucking learned how to use chopsticks. My mother would go, that's it. You got to go to your godmother's house. You got a problem. You're retarded. Something's wrong with you. You're not Chinese, stupid. You're not Chinese. And I would make up reasons why I was Chinese and
It
shit.
used to be that you could dress like you did kung fu. Nobody would even say anything. They'd be like, that guy's really into the arts. You could walk around with them little skinny, tiny black cloth shoes with a tiny like tan heel. Remember those, Joey? They're basically slippers. They were slippers. They're like kung fu slippers. And dudes wear white socks. And they would have the full kung fu outfit on. And they just walk around the street like that. And you'd be like, all right, what are you going to do?
And then right before,
There they are. There's the kung fu shoes.
I had those.
Dudes
I had
just walk
those.
around with those, man. They would walk around with those shoes. And it's a nice shortcut to like instantly you seem like a guy who thinks of things in a different way. You seem spiritual. You're in touch with your chi and your energy. You can talk about Chinese medicine. You can say a lot of stupid shit if you're wearing those slippers and some dumb
Dog,
kung fu clothes.
I used to
you can
walk
talk
around
about
with that
medicinal
shit.
teas.
My girlfriend's making me do this right now, like have outdoor slippers, indoor slippers,
a good move.
and like slippers I can leave the house with.
That's a good move just for your health.
Yeah, but I have 3 different slippers. And
The
then, like,
problem is if you leave your shoes on when you come in the house, you're tracking all kinds of garbage from outside. That is actually a good move.
So, Rogan, I got to tell you
But the
something.
kung fu outfit, not so much.
no.
About 3 weeks before my mother died, she would never be home on Friday nights because she was a degenerate gambler. So she would hit the tracks on Friday nights. But every once in a while, she'd surprise attack me. I'd have to use the Visine. I didn't really, I would drink Boone's Farm.
Yeah,
Boone's Farm,
Strawberry
Strawberry
Field,
Hill.
Strawberry
yeah.
Boone's
Strawberry
Farm.
Hill? What is
That's
it?
how I
Strawberry Hill
started.
Field. I think it's
And
Hills.
then I wouldn't really drink as much. My thing was the marijuana. That was my thing. I didn't want her to catch me, so I'd Visine it, and I'd try to act normal. and fucking, I got high with this girl, and I didn't know, we were swapping spit, and I ate her monkey, and she was bleeding. I didn't know. I didn't even know a period existed. I didn't know what the fuck it was. And I walk in my house, and I had a little bit of blood on my lip and like a hair. And my mother's like, "What are you, the wolf man?" I'll never forget. She asked me, "Si el hombre lobo, ¿qué te pasó, compadre? ¿Qué te
Did
why
she
you-"
know?
No.
She didn't know what it was?
No, I didn't tell her that I was embarrassed. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was 15 years old.
Didn't you think she just assumed?
That it was a blood
Pussy.
from a period?
Yeah.
No.
Wouldn't she ask you if you got in a fight then?
She asked me what happened, and I was like, I cut my lip, and she's like, how,
Oh,
how the
okay.
fuck did you cut your lip? And I'm like, I don't know, and I made up some fucking fake story.
But don't you think she knew you were lying?
She,
Moms know. If you lying to a
Bro,
mom,
she-
I
like,
did that once. I went to Starbucks, but I was like 35.
she caught me with a girl once, and the girl was hiding in the closet, and I'll never forget. My mom came into my room, looked around, looked at me, and she just slid the closet. It was one of those sliding closets, and the girl was just standing there topless, and she goes, "Get out,
Get out!
puta," and then she would call them whores and shit.
No!
No, oh my God.
Oh,
I used
no.
to date the girl that lived in my backyard.
Poor girl.
I used to date a girl that our backyards connected. We were in love in the 6th grade. It's the reason why I got left back. In the 6th grade, I fell in love. No sex. I fell in love. No sex at all. I just fell in love with her. She made me a promise that in June, when school ended, we were going to start dating official. We could make out and shit. Before that, we would just hug and kiss each other in the cheek. And we would play hooky and do stupid shit and go to Union City. And I'd, spend money on her at fucking this little amusement park and shit. And one day they fucking called home and my mother answered the phone. And my mom started yelling. And the girl's parents were home. And my mom started yelling, "Jose Antonio, where the fuck are you? You with that whore from across the way. So me and her walk into her house. And her mother pulls me aside and she goes, the things your mother is saying, I should go over there and smack her in the face. And I almost told the lady, listen, if you go over there, my mom will break you in fucking half. You got the wrong lady. She just stabbed the motherfucker 3 weeks ago. You're not going to go over there and say nothing to my mother. And I remember walking in and my mother being pissed. I wasn't allowed to hang out with that girl no more. You know, I was in the 6th grade, 7th grade. My mom didn't want me to be a freak. She didn't want me to fucking have a girlfriend. She was like totally against it. Like, not till you're in the 8th grade.
My mom would yell at me in the 9th grade if I was in the bedroom and I had the door
Oh,
shut.
yeah, have the door open.
Yeah. No, I guess it was 10th grade. 15 was when I really started getting some action. 14 was a rough year.
I had this friend. I had this tight friend called Eddie. Let's just leave it at Eddie, all right? We were tight. I loved Eddie. Eddie and me were tight. He's the one that turned me on to how to roll a joint. Eddie was a couple of years older than me, and he had a girlfriend that was a couple of years older than me. Eddie's family picked up one day and went to Miami. Just like that.
Left him behind?
Left a chick behind. Left this beautiful German girl behind. So she lived on Charles Court. In fact, she lived next to where the Iceman, the guy that was the Iceman.
The murderer?
Yeah, the guy that was his buddy, the ice cream truck, Mr. Softy.
Yeah.
That's where he lived, prom guy. So Ilona was her name. She was a hot German girl. And on Friday nights after Eddie left, I mean, we were just friends. And she was way older than me. We were just fucking friends. And we would watch Chico and the Man and Sanford and Son. And one night she asked me, do you want to make out? I didn't even know how to make out with a girl. We made out together, and that was it. Every Friday she'd come over, we'd eat pizza, and we'd make out for a little while. No sex. Nothing like that.
Yeah,
Like,
that took years.
years.
There's a lot
Who
of
was I
squeezing
fucking talking-
breastises and
Shitty pizza.
I was
making
just
out.
telling somebody, I grew up with Catholic girls. You had
Yes.
to talk a lot of shit around Catholic girls. They weren't, you had to go for it. It took a
time.
long time to take a Catholic girl's bra off.
But once they pop the cork off that champagne, those gals is good to go.
The Catholic girls?
Yes, they're the
but-
biggest freaks.
But the first night is not good. They cry. You got to walk them home and rub their back and tell them they're not going to go to hell. Because that's the big thing. They said about going to hell.
I think with the internet, they're less likely to worry about going to hell.
No. I'm talking about 1970
You know what I'm saying? I was there.
Catholic girls. I had one girlfriend that happened, and it was the longest night of my fucking life.
I had one in '83.
She called me when she got home. This is 70-fucking-8. All right?
You're
That
5
beats
years
that.
ahead of me.
And she went to an all-girls academy.
Uh-oh.
You understand me? So I played at St. Michael's CYO. Okay? The home of Tommy motherfucking Heinsohn, if anybody who knows anything. Hey! And she went to the school that cheerleaded for us. So I dated, and eventually, something happened, and it was brutal. It was brutal.
The crying.
The crying, the
Isn't that-
guilt
what a
for
terrible
2
thing of
days.
Worrying
guilt
that
that
you're
she
gonna
had-
go to hell because
Well,
you
I
did
had
what
the
your
same
body
guilt.
wants.
I had the same guilt, bro. I could not believe it. After that, I went straight. I was like, this isn't going to happen again until I marry a woman. That's how fucking Catholic I was, guys.
The crazy thing is they didn't tell us anything about birth control. They didn't tell us shit.
No, in the eighth grade-
everybody was already fucking before anybody got to talk to. Everybody was already fucking by the time they're 16. And when you're 17, your dad or your mom or school, someone's going to pull you aside and say, well, if you're going to have sex, like everybody around you is fucking. You leave these 16, 17-year-olds together. They go to birthday parties together. They're drinking. Everybody's fucking. They're fucking when they're 16 all the time. That's so normal. I don't know what age people fucked at when they were like in the 1950s when our parents were growing up. I don't know what the
Desi
number
and
is.
Lucy didn't fuck. They slept in
They
separate
slept
beds.
in separate beds.
All those TV shows, they slept in separate beds.
But do you think people did less fucking, or do you think
Oh,
they did less
fuck
talking
you.
about
They
it?
fucked and sucked.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
fucked the shit out of Marilyn Monroe, didn't they?
Oh,
yeah.
they did.
They fucked that poor woman to death.
Almost to death.
Bro, I know this dude that that Marilyn Monroe fucked him when he was 16 and she was 22.
Oh, yeah, we know that dude.
You know who I'm talking about? He played. He was the guy in that Sonny.
Should we give him up?
Huh?
Tom Hanks.
No. It wasn't Tom Hanks. It's your boy.
It was.
No, it's Gianni.
That's why he's trying to get out of here.
It's Gianni whatever. The guy that Sonny beats up in The Godfather.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
I think I did.
Yeah. It's the guy that Sonny beats
There's
up
a
in
lot. My memory is full. It's
Yeah.
really full. Like over this I mean, I know I'm 53, so I'm like officially old now. I've been officially old for at least 8 years, but like now, like officially old. Like my memory's full. It's like I can still pull stuff up that I know, but like the new stuff, it's hard to get in there. And there's a lot of old stuff I'm just deleting left and right.
I forget what I have for lunch. But if you read the article I told you to read a long time ago.
Which one?
The one about
Johnny Russo said he lost his virginity to Marilyn Monroe at 15. Woo! That's what's up. See, this is the difference. If that's some horrible man who did that to a 15-year-old girl, it's a crime. But we're all excited for him. Imagine you're a 15-year-old
and Marilyn Monroe throws you a piece of ass. Even the cops would smack you. Like, can
Marilyn
you imagine?
Monroe, 15.
Can you imagine today one of these mothers from Studio City? I want to speak to an officer. Marilyn Monroe fucked my son. The cop would even smack her in the face. Shut the fuck up, you dummy.
That kid's so lucky.
He fucked
He's
Marilyn Monroe. He
so
was 15.
lucky. He's
Is there a
so
movie
lucky.
about that?
She probably sat on his face and shit.
Calendar
Tremendous.
Girl. It's
There's
sort
a
of
movie
like
about
that.
that?
Like there's some guys that have like this weird relationship. Jason Priestley was in it, I think.
Oh, no shit.
Like in the 90s.
I don't remember that one.
It's probably not about that movie, but it's like a dramatized version of like a young dude that had a relationship with Marilyn Monroe.
That's hilarious. Listen, man, I think it's amazing that she was willing to do that. I think it's amazing. She'd find some 15-year-old kid and go, I'm going to freak this fucking kid out. I'm Marilyn Monroe. I'm going to fuck a gardener. I'm going to fuck some 15-year-old kid pushing a lawnmower. Let's do it, baby. You imagine you're on the couch, 15-year-old kid, and Marilyn Monroe just grabs your dick and sticks it inside of her. You're like, what? How is this happening? You remember that iconic video of her standing on the subway grate in Manhattan? It's blowing her skirt up, and here's Marilyn Monroe riding you.
Can you imagine him telling his friends, and they're like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here! You didn't fuck no Marilyn
Billy
Monroe."
is so full of shit. You won't believe his latest lie.
What if she was that gross, though? She was just so drugged up and drunk that people are like, ooh, get her away from me. Like, put her over next to that 15-year-old kid.
No, there's video of her before she died. There's video of her the year that she was still alive before she died. She was beautiful.
That movie was based off
was
of this,
beautiful.
that old I Had a Secret show. It's like the guy went on and said, I had a date with Marilyn Monroe, and she paid for it.
Oh, my God.
So then the movie came out in 1983.
Dude, I have so much more respect for her now. I just think if I was a female famous actor, that'd be the most gangster thing to do. Fuck high school seniors, just grab them. Get in the limo, bitch. No one would have a problem with it. No one would have a problem with it.
Everybody would have a problem with everything.
We would all be laughing though. But if like the biggest movie star in the world was scooping up high school seniors and blowing them, nobody would get mad at them. They would say that's crazy.
I think that's happening.
There was a
right now.
gym teacher in my school that fucked.
No one's at school right now.
There was a female gym teacher in my school that fucked everybody. Didn't fuck me. She didn't like me. She fucked everybody. We used to drop people off at a house. You ever drop, like Redban, where you going tonight? You guys got to drop me off at Miss whatever's house.
And she would just fuck the kids.
Yeah, she would
How
just
old?
fuck. She had to be in her 30s.
No, how old were the kids?
16, 15,
So just
17.
Whoever's ready to party.
Everybody gave her a fucking stab.
Now,
She
did
didn't like me.
everybody
She didn't
talk
even-
about it? How many people talked
It was
about it?
well known.
Did the teachers know about it? Or did the kids keep their mouth shut? Because that's the difference between today and
I think
then.
she was giving pussy to the teachers too. She ended up marrying one of the teachers.
Wow.
Did she? I'm not sure. She was a hot blonde. And then there was a chick in our high school that just liked older guys. And I remember we were in summer school. And we were standing outside, and this chick was fucking hammered. She had to be 16, 15, my age, sophomore summer. And right in front of everybody, she just went up to the vice principal, hammered, and just started grabbing his dick and going, "Let's get out of here, baby." And he's like, "All right, everybody could go play now." And, and fucking, He just froze. I know the girl. I'm friends with her on Facebook today.
Really?
She's got kids. Yeah.
Wow.
She got kids, the whole fucking deal. And I talk to her from time to time, say hello.
That's hilarious.
She was a freak when I was a kid.
There was always a neighborhood freak. There was a neighborhood freak in my neighborhood. Fucked all the kids that played softball. She was hot. She was 21.
Always had torn jeans.
They always knew a lot about rock. They always introduced you to some old Sabbath. She'd play some old Zeppelin. Like, I didn't know. I was musically illiterate at the point. I learned a lot about music from this lady. She's a nice lady.
Did she smell like cigarettes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I thought it was hot.
My street girl smelled like cigarettes.
I thought it was hot. I thought girls that smelled like a woman that smelled like she smoked cigarettes, that it was hot. Because it was like a dangerous lady. Doesn't give a fuck about cancer. That's my rationale when I was a kid. I thought it was the dumbest thing for you to do for your health, but I also thought it was hot if girls smoked cigarettes.
I'll tell you what how hard it was in my neighborhood to score. That on Facebook, most of the kids I'm friends with from my neighborhood are married. They married their high school sweethearts. That's how anti-sex, not anti-sex, but my high school was very
old school, old-fashioned.
It was very old-fashioned.
You marry your high school sweetheart.
If you took a Spanish girl on a date, you had to go with a grandmother the first 3 or 4 dates. Italian girl, sometimes you got to bring the abuela, the grandma with you. It was a different time. I didn't learn about sugar daddies and all that shit till I moved to Seattle. I heard all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And then the shit that you hear once you move here. I had never been raised around that shit. I'm a criminal. I don't know nothing about that fucking islands and Tom Hanks and fucking... What the fuck? What the fuck? And you hear this shit, the Epstein. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I don't
think Tom Hanks is a part of that.
Michael
The
Jackson,
Tom Hanks thing
fucking-
is more or less an internet meme. It's like a joke that they're pretending that Tom Hanks is a pedophile. But the Epstein thing's real. That's what's crazy. It's like there's so much talk about all these other things when there's a whole log of people that went to this island with a guy who was a pedophile who was known for having underage girls. And he didn't really kill himself, and everybody knows it. So everybody knows somebody killed him.
Did you take the over?
What's the over?
I took the over that they're going to bomb that place where they have her.
Oh,
They can't choke her.
No.
They can't choke her, and they can't suicide her. So there's either going to be some type of disruption.
Corona.
Some type of disruption. Corona.
Some
a heavy dose of Corona.
Well, that was one of the things I talked to Oliver Stone about with Jack Ruby.
Yeah.
He said that Jack Ruby getting cancer and dying so quickly, like that didn't really make sense. And that they were working on things that you could do to people where you could inject them and they'd get cancer and die. Yeah.
Yeah, Corona is either going to be...
Who knows? It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
They're going to blow her out of there. If she has to testify, the fucking Marines got to go.
Yeah.
The Marines got to go.
E-bike accident.
Like poor Simon.
Poor
Simon
fucking Simon. That
he
poor
broke his
bastard.
back.
What he was on, though, I have 2 e-bikes. I'm addicted to that lifestyle. But what he was on is like a motorbike. It's like a Tron motorcycle has like the torque of a Tesla.
No.
It's like
He was on one of those?
one of those.
What's he doing?
I don't know. I think
helmet?
I think it's
No,
fun. It's
I'm
like having a
asking you
Tesla
guys.
as a bike.
But is it a motorcycle or is it a scooter? Do you need a license?
They have
classified
full
as
on instead of like a motorbike like X Games style, it's just e-battery.
Bro, when we were in Austin, I was watching those drunk fucks roll by on those scooters. I was like, do you need a license for that?
No.
You should have a fucking
actually,
license.
you
These
do.
guys
You-
are going kind of fast.
You do. You're supposed to. When you sign up for the thing, you're supposed to like take a picture of your ID and shit.
If you fall going 15 miles an hour, you are fucked. Like, I don't know if you realize how fucked you are. If you fall on concrete and you're going 15 miles an hour, you're fucked.
One of mine
don't know
goes
how to fall.
38.
38.
Yeah, and it's just like
38.
Yeah, my juice.
Jamie's got a crazy one.
You got to know how to fall too.
Listen,
but
bitch, you're hitting the concrete and electric poles.
It hurts.
Oh my God, stop. You don't understand. If you hit something at 30 miles an hour,
Oh,
you're...
that's way different than.
Okay, let's
the
say 15.
Most
you hit
of them,
something
yeah.
at 15 miles an hour, you hit the concrete and a pole. At 15 miles an hour, you have no understanding of what do you weigh, like 200 pounds?
The ones you rent off the street have they're limited to only go like 13 miles an hour or something like that.
If you hit a pole
20.
at 13 miles an hour, listen to me, Jamie. you're gonna get fucked up.
Fucked up.
You're gonna get fucked up, like really fucked up.
That's full sprint. I know. I get it.
Woo! But I'm saying that if you just walk
I don't
into a
run into
pole,
poles,
it's not
though.
nearly as well. You don't, but other folks are intoxicated. You're very well coordinated. But I'm saying it's kind of crazy. You could just pick one of these things up with no license, and you're going 15 miles an hour, booking down the street.
These
I
are
was
the ones that
watching-
you. These are the ones you rent on the street.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
supposed to have a
you
license.
show up.
You have to have a license.
Oh, a driver's
Whether or not
license?
like you do it without, like you can give it to your kid, but like as you sign up for it, you're giving a liability and shit.
Oh.
Like you take a picture of your license.
Oh, okay. So you have to
Yeah.
have a driver's
Yeah, yeah,
license.
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
To
That's
rent
better.
them, not buy them.
That's better.
Yeah, not to buy it. You can buy
That's
it.
better. But
Walmart.
it's definitely more complicated than driving a car, right? Like you got to balance on that thing.
A bike?
But if someone's a slob, right?
It's not hard.
But if
it's
a
not that hard to
slob,
balance, but yeah.
if someone just has no coordination,
It's
they
just a
decide to
bike.
get on one of those things.
It's just a bike that.
Scooter?
Scooter.
It's just
Those scooters that are everywhere.
Yeah, I don't like the scooters.
You can go fast.
Yeah, you can go as fast. There's scooters that go 45 miles an hour that you could buy.
Come on. You can't do that. You need a helmet. Where's your fucking
Oh, yeah,
helmet?
you definitely have
You
to
going
have
40 miles an hour, where's your helmet? It's real common, though. But listen, at least if people fall down, they're not... Well, you could fucking wipe into somebody. You could wipe into somebody and hurt them pretty bad.
gotta keep your eyes open. Watch
Dog,
the
they
road.
banned them in Hoboken.
They banned them?
They
Yeah.
banned them because they were being dropped all over the place,
Yeah.
and people were hurting themselves. That's just another fucking headache for people.
It's weird because you can just leave them on the sidewalk.
You leave them
but
on the
they're not really
sidewalk.
parked.
People are doing them at night.
Yeah.
You know, you're taking a chance. Every time you get on one of those fucking things, it's a fucking nightmare.
But
Whoever
I support-
invented that,
I support people's right to do it.
no, I don't give a fuck. Let them do it, but don't come
Yeah.
crying to me when you get hit in the fuck by a truck.
Yeah.
Don't come crying to me then.
I wouldn't advise any of my friends, especially if they're intoxicated. Like, you think I should take this home? No. If you're thinking, should I take this home, you definitely shouldn't take that home. Because a mistake, one fucking mistake.
Dog,
Yep.
listen, Joe Rogan.
Get a Dewey on this too, I think.
What's that?
Did you get operating while intoxicated?
Oh, yeah.
Can you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
absolutely.
That makes
Sure.
sense.
My brother,
Of course you.
my brother, I took up bike riding during this quarantine.
I saw.
You know what time I leave my house?
I follow you on Patreon.
8:15. 8:15 a.m. Do you know why I do that? There's a reason.
Why?
Because there's nobody out.
Yeah.
I go against the grain. Like, I don't let cars behind me. I go against cars. You got something to say, you shut your fucking mouth.
Yeah.
I wear a hooded sweatshirt with a 22 just in case.
Jesus,
I
don't tell people that.
I don't wear headphones. I put my mask on like a decent fucking American, and I take that fucking bike from Tahunga to fucking Toluca Lake. Sometimes I go on the sidewalk, whatever, but trust me, I know that I'm in danger of getting hit. Every time I get on those bikes, I say a prayer because there's a lot of motherfuckers texting. I see it. When you're on a bike, you got to work hard now. A scooter, you're in danger. You're in danger. Your best bet is to get a bike and go on the Chandler Trail. That's what normal people would do. You're pretty safe there, you know. I've done that a lot too. But the Chandler Trail is kind of weird. There's people walking.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and there's people with fucking dogs. They're going to take their dogs everywhere. Can people leave the fucking dogs at home in California? You go to, the other day I was hungry. I went to eat, and all of a sudden, the lady's sitting there with a fucking dog, social distancing. The dog can't stay home. Not one day. Everybody in California got to fucking take a dog.
They have emotional
And a
support
long
dogs.
fucking leash. Emotional dogs. Take Xanax like everybody else. Do a line of fucking Coke. What do you think Coke is up to $1,800 an ounce?
Is it really?
Really?
$1,800 an ounce.
What did it used to be?
$6. They were giving it away 3 years ago.
What happened?
COVID.
Borders are closed.
COVID, and they got
Borders
an
are
extra
closed.
six.
Oh, it's hard to get in.
COVID, and they got an extra $600 a week on unemployment. What are
You
you
see
kidding
that
me?
new Mexican tunnel they just found?
Oh, yeah,
The most
and they built-
complicated tunnel they've ever
Dog,
discovered.
that's an easy
Have
one.
you seen that,
They
Jamie?
gave them that
You see
one.
that shit?
Remember, they built 20 at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
And they want you to find
They
one.
sacrifice one, so you have a big victory for
yeah,
Fox
you're
News.
jumping up and down.
Mexican
and
drug
meanwhile,
lords
fucking-
stopped at the border. The most sophisticated tunnel in U.S. history, discovered between Mexico and Arizona. Although it's not exactly clear what the structure was intended for, it had ventilation, a rail system, and extensive reinforcement. Yeah, look at that shit, dude.
That's how the vampires come in.
That's how they got El Chapo out. You ever see that? The El Chapo one's amazing. El Chapo goes to take a shit and never returns. He goes behind this little thing. He's the only thing that keeps the camera from seeing him taking a shit is a thing where you can't see him when he's sitting. So it's like a thing about this high. So he turns around towards where the toilet is, ducks down, and disappears forever from sight. Like it's like taking a shit for like 5 hours. They go in and check on the guy. They find out there's a door behind the shitter, and he's got a tunnel built in there with a rail system, like a real rail system, and lighting and electricity. It goes a mile long. So he gets under the tunnel. He gets in there. They take him off before the fucking people in the jail can realize he's gone. He's a mile away. He pops out of this building. He gets out of this building, and they swoop him up in a truck or whatever, or a helicopter, and they get him the fuck out of here. But it's hilarious. Watch. He goes behind this thing to take a shit. He's like, this is like take a shit area. And when he does it, he just disappears. So here's his take a shit area. He's like, I'm just going to take my pants off real quick. Let me lean forward. Ducks down. Boom. He's through the floor. He's gone.
Fucking tremendous.
Bro, they had it all set up for him. They popped him out in the other end. His son got arrested recently, and then they released him. They're like, fuck it. They got surrounded by cartel people. They negotiated, and they just released him. It was crazy.
That's a complete different world.
It's a different world. It's right there, bro. You can walk there. If you live in La Jolla, you can walk there, son.
How crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. Pretty crazy.
Let me tell you something.
There he is. Hey, what's up, guys? Everything's cool. Relax.
The fucking...
Had to let him go.
The fucking... Pablo Escobar 2 seasons
Amazing.
were very good.
That guy who plays Escobar is incredible.
The guy...
What's his name?
I don't know. He's Panamanian, whatever. Is he Panamanian?
Jamie's going to pull it up. That guy needs his respect.
Then
He's so good.
Then you have the season of the Cali Cartel.
Yeah, I didn't make it. It's
That one was
too many
that one was
murders.
Yeah, that one opens up with them
There
burying
he
a
is.
guy.
Wagner Moura. I think he's from Brazil.
Yeah, Brazilian.
Right?
But sorry,
Dude,
he got
great.
he got
incredible.
tormented because his Spanish was bad.
Yeah.
Fucking people. The guy could act his ass
Oh,
off.
he could act his ass
But then
off.
you had season the Cali Cartel. That was good. The season opened up when they rip a guy apart with motorcycles. They put a motorcycle on each leg, and they just tear him apart. That's the season opener. So you know it. And the guy is gay that runs the clique. So he goes to that party, gets a bottle, fucking takes over the dance floor, makes out with his gay lover, takes the bottle, breaks it over the guy's head, then ties him up with a motorcycle and rips him apart.
Oh my
Fucking tremendous
God.
opening.
Oh
okay.
my God.
Then we skip the Cali
season is
Cartel.
this?
This is season 3 and 4. Or season 3 is the Cali Cartel. Then it goes into season Narcos Mexico. And to me, in my world, and you know me, dog, I come at you with Lawrence Fishburne. I'll tell you who's really doing their craft right. Who are pimps of the game right now. That we've seen who are the major pimps of the fucking game. Right now, the major pimps of the game that you and I have seen in our lifetime have been guys like Lawrence Fishburne. You know, this kid who does John Wick is doing a great fucking job.
Oh, Keanu
The
Reeves is
English guy
amazing.
is the real deal.
Daniel
Say
Craig.
what you want about my... nah.
Which one? He's amazing.
Say what you want
dare
about...
you.
No, the other English dude. The one that was in The Fighter.
Tom Hardy.
The one... you see Capone?
The one in The
You want to
Fighter?
shoot yourself in the head 2 times. Leave me alone with Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy was good with Gandolfini. That's the best thing fucking Tom Hardy did. That and the fucking Bronson.
Christian Bale.
What? Christian Bale is fucking the real deal. You got to rock with Christian Bale. But the dude who fucking does Narcos Mexico, the little dude, that dude is on a different level. He's on a different level. He takes that show to a different level. You can't take your eyes off him. And I didn't even know that this Latin theater existed. When I was a kid, I watched Telemundo and telenovelas. That's the gay one. He's tremendous. That's the gay one. That's the sick. That's when they're in Cali Cartel. This is all good stuff. But the guy, Narcos Mexico, he's so fucking good. It's scary how good he is. He does 2 seasons. He's the one that when and that I saw. He tells the story of what happened in New York We were buying brown weed, and all of a sudden they were selling a weed called Sinsemilla. And it was a weed that was grown with no seeds, so it was easier to pack and easier to smuggle. So they had to convince these people that this was the future. But there's a problem with Sinsemilla. It has to be grown in the desert. It can't be grown anywhere else because a male plant will fuck up the whole thing. So it's got to be grown in the desert. Who grows weed in the desert? These motherfuckers set up an irrigation thing.
Explain the male-female plant thing.
I don't, you know,
know how to
me,
do
I
it?
do know that now, but Jamie, when he
you know
gets
it?
a minute, when
It's
Jamie
'cause
gets a
I
minute,
know it. I know it's a thing.
Like hermaphrodites or something, they can switch.
But yeah, they can switch genders, but the flowery ones are the females,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
marijuana.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that they're female, and you
Right.
make sure the males don't fuck them over and switch them.
Yeah. I don't know how they
weird.
can get too close and change each other. or
so
whatever.
can you see the
crop.
biggest crop seeds from narcos? I mean,
So marijuana growers are
Joe
transphobic.
Rogan.
Is that what you're
These-
saying?
these motherfuckers,
Mint seeds are assholes.
look at the size of this fucking, this went on for days where they just grew this weed. And they would do it right before.
Do you know how to grow weed?
No. Every time I do it, I fail. But this, they show you how.
Damn.
They show you how. Look at that. Look at the size of those.
How
That's
did Netflix pull this off? What do they do?
it's brilliant.
Do you think that's all CGI?
A lot of CGI mixed with fake.
Some plants, like
Yeah.
some real. You can have real plants. They're legal now.
Well, they're probably just plastic.
But this guy
Don't break my
devised the system. This guy devised the system that he knew that there was water in the desert, and that's where they grew this weed. And this kid here, he could eat motherfuckers alive for breakfast with his acting. That dude there, that little Mexican right there, and I watched him a couple times, and I go, there's something special about this kid. I'm not going to look him up or whatever. And I finally looked him up. His mother died when he was 3, and his father was a stagehand in Mexico. So his father was a set designer, which means that he grew up around his father on the set designing, which made him a little bit more creative than the average fucking kid. He was also in Star Wars. This kid will eat motherfuckers up for lunch when they let him go. He's going to eat motherfuckers up for lunch when they let him go. They just, Narcos was his shit. He was that good, Diego Luna. That fucking good, Joe Rogan. Steals it. And so there's even one episode where he tells his wife, I don't need you anymore. You could go.
Whoa.
Cold-blooded. And how he does it, the whole, from A to Z. From A to Z. How he started with weed first, and then he went on a mission to do a favor, and he saw cocaine in Nicaragua. And he goes, all the cocaine is stuck in Nicaragua. Why is it stuck in Nicaragua? Because they had closed the routes from Miami. So he went to fucking Cali Cartel. They told him, you got 2 choices. You got the Cali Cartel, they're legit businessmen. They don't even look like drug dealers. But then we got another guy that's very emotional. So you have to pick who you want to go with. He went with the businessman. Cut a deal. On the way to the airport, they get kidnapped. They take him right to Pablo's house.
Oh, Jesus.
It is one of the greatest fucking scenes ever when how Pablo talks to him. He says, what are you doing here? I went to Cali. Pablo lights up a fucking joint. Pablo's talking to him. You went to Cali, okay. And then he goes, what are you going to do with a hippopotamus? Pablo had a hippopotamus. And Pablo's telling him, like, he loves hippopotamuses because they're smooth and all this shit. And the whole time he's just smoking a joint. And he goes, I'm going to cut you a deal. For every load you take of theirs, you take one of mine in. And that's how that whole thing began.
Oh. The guy agreed to it.
So, and the guy agreed to
Smart.
it. He
Yeah,
goes,
agree
for
to
every
it.
load to that.
Don't be greedy, bitch.
He goes, because if you do that for me, then you're going to put me out of business.
Do you think that Narcos is like the Rocky movies for drug dealers? Like they see
It's
that
very
and they
sad.
go,
You know what?
Absolutely.
Narcos. The first two
Scarface.
the first 2 seasons or 3 seasons of Narcos is very sad for a guy like me
Really?
because it shows you the truth of what happened. It shows you that the Colombians had something going on, and once the Americans saw the amount of money, they tapped right into it.
Right.
That whole thing with Barry Seal and Arkansas, and that's all real. We can't rewrite that. It's like the first time you realized the Kennedy hit was done by the CIA or whoever did it.
Right.
You say to yourself, wow, we have a government that ISIS their own people.
Right.
Now they're fucking help bring in these drugs. The same war on drugs that they have on paper, they're profiting off. And then when you look at the fucking weed thing from the narcos perspective, you don't know the amounts of weed they were bringing in. They were supplying the whole country with green weed. The whole country with Sensimilla.
Damn.
And everybody was in on it. But meanwhile, Reagan is on there with his wife, just saying no.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you see the hypocrisy, and it kind of hurts you. You go, what the fuck else won't they do, you know?
Well, the Just Say No thing was coming from the same administration that funded the Conchas versus the Sandinistas with CIA drug money run through South Central LA.
And they show him
through
go
Freeway Ricky Ross, who's been on the podcast twice.
Yes, they show him
The real
going
Rick Ross.
they show Narcos, the Mexican kid I just told you. They show him going because the plane goes down.
He's in that.
How they discovered that whole thing was a plane goes down. And all of a sudden, Oliver Wood, whatever his name is, Oliver North, Oliver South, whatever his fucking name was.
Oliver North.
Well, guess what happened? Narco went to the CIA after they had killed Kiki Camarena. He's the most wanted man in the fucking world for being one of the guys that murdered Kiki Camarena. He shows up at CIA headquarters and goes, whoa, I got the fucking answer to your problems.
What year was this, Jamie?
I will continue to bring you fucking weapons.
This has happened a couple of times. 2007. I think this is a later one. This
Yeah,
is one that you and I have brought up before because it was like a
There was
CIA.
one 2008 also.
Of course it is. They fucking crash all the time. There was one that just happened. Didn't one just happen somewhere in the world? They glued them up with cocaine, these fucks. They get greedy. When you get coked up, you're like, it's going to make it. Jesus
Just-
wants us to land.
Just Mexico, I looked up. I could
Oh.
just erase that part, and we'll get
But there was one that just happened, like real recently.
on Afghanistan.
There's one that
Cuban
happened. No, that was 2007. There's one that happened like a week
Spirit.
ago.
Anonymous plane, 5.5 tons of coke.
No, there was. It wasn't a CIA plane that landed recently, but it was one that crashed right after taking off. It's a.
Oh yeah, they put too much on it.
Yeah, there it is. It was in New Zealand, right, or Australia?
Melbourne, yeah, Australia.
Melbourne. There you go.
It's not as much. It's half a ton.
They had one of them old fucking
Tiny
propeller
little
planes loaded up with coke.
So,
Those planes
you know,
are the worst. You have to be honest about what you weigh. Like if you get on the plane with your wife and she's like 146, and you're like, bitch, I don't want to die.
I used to have to be.
You're 152.
My mom would make extra money on the side when she worked at Wendy's and take those planes down to like Atlanta and drop off stuff. And I just remember being a kid in the back seat reading Garfield, going, "I'm going to die! Like I'm going to die."
How many
And
times did you have to fly on one?
I'd
of
probably
those?
say at least 10 times that I remember.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
Jesus
Oh my god!
I get sick of those little planes.
Yeah,
I did one of those motherfuckers.
what was Wendy's dropping off? Like special sauce? I don't know.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, man.
No, that was an interesting cast. That Narcos is an interesting. They did them right. I think this year they're going to Miami.
They killed it with Pablo. They killed it.
Killed it.
That guy's so good.
Killed it. And the guy I like that they hired was that dude that got like 2,000 years in jail. The one who ran the island. Like his story is hilarious because he was a John Lennon fanatic.
Yeah.
And he was half German, so he was a Hitler, but he was Spanish. Okay, and he was.
Sounds like a
and-
Saturday Night Live
Bro,
sketch.
so when the feds went all extradite on these guys, they became the extraditables. This guy took to the radio, and they show scenes of him on the radio, fucking hot, like. Okay, so You cannot take us back to the United States because you're the #1 exporter of our product. And he's snoring. All of a sudden he sees like an assistant walk by and he goes, hey, come here. And all of a sudden she just kneels down. She's blowing him on camera. And he's like, listen to me. You have to. He became nuts.
When was this?
Listen to what they did, okay?
Hold on. Is there a video of this you can get?
Oh, my God. Carlos Leder is a fucking lunatic. Carlos Leder was the one who went to Pablo and said, I'm gonna fly the coke back for you, but we're gonna make a stop on an island. So they bought an island. They fucking threw the doctor off. There was a white doctor. They're like, oh, nice to meet you. And they were like, listen, there's a whole story about it that's hysterical. The guy called the feds. There's something going on over there. They're doing pornographic. They're running in planes of blow.
Wow.
And there's this one, they bought everybody out, but there was this one white dude who was like, this is my island. I'm an American. I fought in World War II. I'm not leaving. And they're like, dog, we're going to fucking kill you. Okay? We're going to keep. And all night they were bringing in planes, refueling them, and sending them out. Carlos laid there.
What does it say? U.S. drug lord and Escobar partner Leder released in Germany from prison. When was this?
Oh, my God. He's
Just
Germany,
now.
from Florida to Germany.
Oh, from Florida to Germany.
Because he's originally from Germany. His father was German. He's got 2,000 years. So what they did was this. It doesn't take a fucking genius. This kid got the island. He made them a bunch of money. But then he started doing a podcast from the island with cameras and naked women of him snorting coke with a robe on.
How old was he?
Who the fuck knows? 28, 30, just making $20 million a day. Think if you're making $20 million a day and you're just addicted to coke, there's bags of blow behind you. He's just ripping bags open, snorting them, just talking. He was a John Lennon fan. So he would talk about There he is. He would do these videos for hours. For days.
So he was like an original YouTube star.
Yeah, so what they did was, but he wasn't posting on YouTube.
But if he did, he would be huge.
So what they did was,
He's MySpace boy.
He's the first one they gave up. When the shit got deep and the Colombians were in trouble, the 5 Colombians sat down. They said, listen, this kid's on an island talking about Jim Morrison and the Doors. Let's let the feds know where he's at. We'll give him you, and we got no beef. So they extradited Leder. They gave him 2,000 years.
Oh my God!
Look up the sentence. I'm not trying to be funny. They gave him 1,000 years.
So why would they extradite him to Germany?
Because he gave them information years later about. He gave them like vital. He gave them really great information that if the country fucking knew, we would sink. Like he gave them shit.
Like what?
He gave them information that he also, not beside having his island, that was also a distraction. His main contributor, his main supplier was Fidel. So Fidel was letting him go to Cuba, bring the coke to Cuba, stock it, and for every ship that went out from Cuba to the United States with a Cuban flag, Fidel would get a kickback of $800,000. Fidel was sending 3-4 ships a day. So he testified against Fidel, which obviously nobody ever arrested Fidel. And he told them everything he knew about the ins and outs of money moving. You could find it online, all the shit he had done.
This guy in Blow is based off of him.
And that guy in Blow is based on him.
He's a cellmate, George Young's cellmate in prison.
Isn't it funny? Like, no one wants their son to do that, but everybody loves these movies.
Yeah, that's weird.
Isn't that weird?
You know
like,
what,
Jamie, if you had a son,
you
your
know
son
what's
became
funny?
a fucking drug dealer.
In this movie, his father is Henry Hill.
No shit.
And he knows that he's doing it. It's a very good movie.
Is that real in real life?
No.
Okay.
In the movie,
so it's a fictional kid.
Ray Liotta's.
Ray Liotta plays his father in this movie. And
Oh, Henry Hill. You mean from...
Yeah. And one day,
Hanks
I
brother.
thought you meant the actual Henry Hill.
no,
I'm like,
fuck
how-
Henry Hill. I'm talking
What are the
about
odds? It's a criminal family.
right.
Yeah,
So,
translation.
and
Thank you very much.
Thank
Jamie
you.
had to translate for you. Jamie's a psychic.
Jamie
for sure.
knows.
Jamie's 100% a psychic.
It's really crazy you said that because in the movie, he goes to his house one time, the father, and he goes, "I saw all this on the landscape. This, what are you doing, son?" You know, and he goes, "What are you talking about? She comes from wealth." You know, and then he gets busted and stuff. And he
Look at
goes-
this right here. Look at that old school Corvette.
Yeah.
Look at that fucking car.
Look at his house. They're
Oh,
from
my
fucking
God.
Boston.
He's in a palace. Look at that car, though. Go
that
wide.
suit.
Look at that fucking car. That's a Generation 1 Corvette.
That's sexy.
That's even before mine is a 65. That's like probably early 60s, maybe even 50s. That thing's amazing. Those cars back then, man, you like that early first series Corvette? Holy shit, what a car that is. Ron White's got one of those, a sick one. See if you can find it. See if Ron White's Corvette is online. Ron White has a sick Corvette. Like
I'm
a,
gonna go piss again.
you get out of there, big boy.
Stand up.
Generation 1, he has a Generation 1 convertible that's just immaculate. Ron White is got to be one of the coolest people on the planet Earth.
Sweetheart.
Got to be one of the coolest people. Owns his own tequila company. Funny as fuck. Always cool to hang with. Never has an attitude. He's never had an attitude. He's always Ron White. What you see is what you get. That's Ron motherfucking White. He's always super sweet, hugs people.
He reminds me
real
of what
friendly.
Texas is in a human form.
He's fucking awesome. He's just a fucking awesome guy. I love him to death. There's his car. And he's got
Wow.
the dopest choice in vehicles. Look at that. God damn, what a car.
Is he having somebody else drive it for him?
I think it's probably like when he first got it.
NASCAR driver Kurt Busch.
Oh, wow.
He just
Look at that thing, man. God damn, that's pretty. That's so pretty. America knew how to do shit back then, Redban.
I think it's getting more exciting now, honestly, with cars. I love
Oh, for sure.
all
Yeah.
the new stuff.
For sure with cars. Cars are the most exciting now.
Are you going to get one of those, what's it called?
Cybertrucks?
No. The gas, the Ford Bronco.
No.
Yeah.
I have a real Bronco. I have a 1972 Bronco.
Yeah.
Those are real. Mine's a manual. It doesn't even have good brakes. There's a thing about Broncos, like those old Broncos. Even mine, like I have a Coyote engine in it. It's it's an Icon. So Jonathan Ward makes it. They take an 8-cylinder Mustang engine, like if you bought a Mustang GT, and they put that in an old Bronco and tweak everything. But it's still not really fast. It's not supposed to be fast. It's just supposed to be interesting. It's like you're driving this thing. It's like all mechanical and shit. But the new Bronco's not going to be like that. New Bronco's going to be dope, no doubt about it. But it's going to be a different kind of dope. It's going to be like a modern dope. What is that again? Show me what we put.
It's interesting.
Largest Cybertruck will be North American ass kicker. Smaller Cybertruck, highly likely, and to be sent to countries we hate.
You know why, right?
North American ass kicker.
The size of the Cybertruck, like Elon wanted to make it smaller because it's bigger than what a average size garage is, single car garage.
Oh.
And so that's the problem. That's why there's probably going to be a smaller one.
That is a fucking problem.
Yeah.
We are gross. We do need things to be as big as humanly possible. If there's a fucking XL Diet Coke, I always get it. I'm like, the regular large is not enough. I am thirsty. Americans are greedy. You know, we see a bigger truck. If there's like Samsung has it nailed, right? They sell you the regular Note, and then you can get the Note Ultra. You got a laptop in your pocket, boy.
Have you got one of those folds? Did you fall for
No.
the fold? The new fold looks pretty badass.
It does. There's a new one, right? It's just
one.
coming out.
Yep.
So what do I get next, guys?
Just keep with your iPhone.
iPhone.
The thing about iPhones is, here's the thing: when you have
sick of shit.
Wait, the new one's about to be
when you
released.
try the two different platforms, the iPhone got way ahead of everybody with two things. One, AirDrop. AirDrop's so important.
Killer.
If you make a funny video of something, you see something, I'm like, oh my God, send me that. I get it instantly. Bluetooth,
It's
like that.
It's fast.
It's fast as fuck.
Yeah, I'll send like gigabyte files
Yeah.
to my girlfriend to edit and stuff like that, and it's like
Yeah.
15 seconds.
Also, when I send you pictures, if they come through iMessage, they're better quality, they're better resolution. There's like a lot of things that you get used to. You get used to iMessage. You get used to the fact that you could answer a message from your laptop if you had a Mac laptop.
That's key.
There's a lot of shit. Also, like buying things with one click.
Apple Pay.
Yeah, Apple Pay's the shit.
That's the shit.
When you go to a supermarket, you
I've been
just pay
using
with your
that
phone.
the whole time.
Look at yourself.
Do it on your
Pay for your groceries. It takes 3 seconds.
your watch can do it too.
Yeah.
I just do.
You
the
feel like
watch.
you're in the
Yeah.
future. I totally. If I can pay for things with my phone, I feel like I'm in the future. I love it.
And you're not touching shit and getting corona and crap.
I remember Dana White told me about that in like 2005. Like, bro, in Japan, their phones, they pay for shit with their phones. I was like, what? Like, what? Like, yeah, they go through things, they pay for things with their phones. They're so far ahead of us. Now here we are. Joey Diaz, what the fuck happened to you?
Look, I'm just thinking about. I don't like that much information out.
Throw me that lighter.
Like
Here's
I
some
don't like that
information.
much information. I wouldn't want to keep.
Yeah, but that's what you said when email first came out or buying on Amazon. I know my
Or
mom.
voicemails.
Or voicemails.
Remember when he would get mad at you if
Yeah.
you left a fucking voice? Don't
Yeah.
you fucking text message me, Joe
Cocksucker.
Rogan.
Nobody fucking voicemails me no more.
But the
anyway.
text messages, you would get so mad.
Oh, I-
Remember?
Yeah.
I just
He still does, kind of.
I just erase them. If you're still text messaging me, like it depends what day, but
I like text
there's
messages.
just people I just erase. Like I don't even look at the message.
Well,
If I don't recognize the number,
here's the problem,
you just
Joey.
get erased.
The problem is you're awesome. So there's a lot of people that want to talk to you. That's the problem.
And send you cool pictures.
No, if you want to talk to me, if you know me that well, you'll fucking call me. I don't want to text with nobody.
I feel like the thing that everybody worries about is using their phone too much. That's almost the number one thing everybody worries about. Because if you didn't worry about using your phone too much, you would say, oh, I just need something I can text with and answer emails. And occasionally look up something on Google, right? That's it. But you're addicted to your goddamn phone. So you're going to be Instagramming and Snapchatting and TikToking.
None of that
Whoa.
shit. I don't do any
You
of
don't
that shit.
TikTok?
Fuck no, it's against the law, bitch.
Listen,
It's a lot, bitch.
It's against the law.
Joe, you should TikTok. You're missing a whole corner of your market.
Do you TikTok?
Don't I?
Oh,
No,
man.
I've never TikToked.
Oh, good.
But I'm saying you should TikTok. Listen, I'm just a manager here.
My first TikTok video.
I'm not trying to play quarterback. I'm trying to manage his team. Joey, TikTok.
No, it's against the
You
law.
with fucking. Let me tell you something. There was a moment in the main room. I don't know if you remember this, but this was like many years ago. We're talking about like 2001, maybe around then, maybe 2000. There was no one in the main room. You're on stage, and you had Danny play Black Sabbath, War Pig.
And I took my shirt off.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember? You had Danny play War Pig, and you took your shirt
That
off,
was 15 fucking years ago.
and you were
'Cause there was
singing
nobody
into
in
the
the main-
microphone, and we were like, yes, because it was so.
There was no audience.
No, there was 10 people.
Yeah,
There was
I-
10 people, but there was also 10 comedians. So there was 20 people in the audience in the main room. 10 of them were just audience members. And then Joey's on stage. He gets the spotlight on him, and he's fucking singing at not just like not lip syncing. He's fucking singing at the top of his lungs to
don't give
War
a fuck.
Pigs, and we're all like, yes. It was what the Comedy Store is. It was the madness. It was sink or swim. It was chaos. There's 10 people in the audience. What are you gonna do, Jose Diaz? What are you gonna do?
Fucking
You
anus.
took your fucking shirt off and you started singing into the microphone, full clip, and we were cheering. The audience was cheering because we recognized that you did something fun. You did something special. You took a moment. A fucking 12:45 spot in the main room on whatever night it was. I don't remember. It was only weekends back in those days. The main room was only open on weekends.
Remember that?
So it had to be.
Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Yeah. So it had to be. It was most likely Friday or Saturday, but it was late. Everybody was gone, and you just took control of this moment in this way that I'm never gonna forget because it was positive. It was exciting, and it made me realize what part of what live comedy is. It's not just like set up punchline. It's
No, it
not.
isn't.
There's moments where you capture these moments, and you just knew how to grab a hold of that fucking wave and ride it. You were just
Joe
hanging
Rogan
that
for
wave of
years.
love. You were just riding it.
I've been obsessed, especially when I started watching YouTube.
Why
I
YouTube?
got into comedy, and I followed comedy. But then I looked at it differently. When YouTube hit, I started studying singers. I started studying singers to really learn how to really get my message across. So I started with Robert Plant. Nobody gets the message across like Robert Plant when he's singing Since I've Been Loving You. Okay, you have to study the great singers. I studied the singer from Bad Company, his body movements. Then I studied the singer from Leonard Skinner. So I stole Leonard Skinner's, that dude, whatever his name was. When you see Joey Diaz on stage, I'm just faking it. I stole Leonard Skinner's singer's persona on stage. The persona is that walk that he makes in Oakland in '77. The walk of James Brown onto Africa with the cape. They took the cape off, and me and you laughed about it.
Yes.
Once you take that side of music and you mix it with what we're trying to do and implement it at the Comedy Store, is when your life really explodes as a comedian. Kennison touched into it.
This Oakland
You
Coliseum?
touched into it, yes. Look at him.
That show's amazing.
He doesn't give a fuck. You cannot give a fuck. So I studied what, just a couple of singers have this Joe Rogan, that you could tell what they're singing about by looking at their body. Robert Plant, Since I've Been Loving You, Live from the Garden, is fucking body language is superb. Nobody's body language was better on stage than fucking Robert Plant. Mick Jagger did his thing, but selling you what three guys behind you are playing is a gift that I also wanted to tap into. That's why I kind of liked Josh's idea. If you didn't do it, you missed out as a comic.
Can you imagine what would happen if
I said no to it for months, and I did it. It was the worst anxiety attack I ever got, but it was worth doing it one time, Joe Rogan. What were you going to say?
I was
I'm sorry
gonna
to
say,
interrupt you.
no. Can you imagine if Leonard Skinner didn't crash in that plane?
We would have had a complete different world today. The Outlaws would have been huge, because Leonard Skinner was already blowing Ted Nugent out of the water on that tour. It was well known.
Those songs were so good. I know a little about love. Baby, I can guess the rest.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
Dude, to this day, man, when I do my kickboxing workouts, 9 out of 10 times I put on a Leonard Skinner.
It gets you angry.
Yeah, I
You
put on a
think
playlist. They weren't supposed to be that good. They're from Florida.
They
For
were.
real. They're not. That's the story of Leonard Skinner. They're not supposed to be that good. Ronnie Van Zant, all those guys, they're from Florida.
They were powerful, dog.
Bro, in a weird way. They would rehearse their riffs, right? Like Eddie Bravo was explaining to me, like the difference between some people have riffs where they just go off, like some guys just shred, and some guys have riffs where the whole riff is like this really calculated solo. It's not as simple as like a guy just fucking for the crowd. No, this guy has got a whole, like when they did, like if they did Freebird, that one guitar solo from Freebird.
You gotta watch it to just kill you.
Might be the greatest guitar solo of all time. It was so polished because it's a crazy solo because they did that solo over and over and over and over and over again. Fuck, it was good, man. When he hits the leap, when he leaps in the air and slams down on the guitar.
This kid here,
motherfucker.
He's a bad motherfucking. Look at them. But you know who else had the flavor? The Allman Brothers.
Fuck yeah, they
with,
did.
Dickie Betts and
my
motherfucking Allman. But
Dude.
this here is beautiful. I study this. I study him. Look at him. He's not even. He just spit. He just fucking spit.
Joey, every time I used to have to do Kevin and Bean, I would do Kevin and Bean a lot. They were the only like LA radio station that I would do. You'd have to get up really early in the morning if you want to get there by 7. So I'd have to leave my house at like 5 in the morning. So it was like fucking dark out, right? And I would smoke a joint in my driveway and I would play Midnight Rider. I'd play the Allman Brothers Midnight Rider. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to see Allman Brothers a few times.
Did
live.
you really?
Yeah.
Where?
Columbus, Ohio.
God damn. What were they doing?
They used to do a tour with, I believe, like Blues Traveler or somebody like that. And there was a few of those jam band type bands. I forget what the tour used to be called.
Dude, we had Rob Lowe here on the other day.
I saw that.
was
I
awesome.
didn't watch the whole podcast.
It was amazing, but it made me stop and think about some of the shit that I forgot that was awesome. You know, when you're hanging out with someone like Rob Lowe, you start thinking about other shit that was awesome back when, you know, you first found out about him.
Yeah. He's amazing.
It's a nice fucking guy,
Remember him
man.
in Austin Powers? That was
Yes. But he's like a really nice guy in real life. Like, you meet him, like, he's everything you would hope he'd be. He's like really charming, really smart,
He's
really
good
friendly.
on Instagram too, like his live little
Yeah.
videos and stuff he makes.
He's
It's really
super
good on.
legit. He's a good guy, like a really nice guy. I'm happy to know him. It was fun talking to him. But at a certain point in time, when you're talking to someone that's that famous, it does weird you out. You're like, you're Rob Lowe. Like, this is so weird. You just feel so strange.
So that's it, dog. We're leaving.
Yeah, I think we have to. This is the thing.
Is Eddie Bravo staying?
I don't know. He'll come. Well, I'll get out of here. There's the tax thing. There's the crime thing. There's the looting thing. There's the no ability to work for too many people thing.
No school.
The restriction. Queso. The restriction barbecue. Shout out to Hoggly Wogglies in Van Nuys, though.
Oh,
you ever
yeah.
eat at Hoggly Wogglies?
Fuck yeah, with you many a time.
Yeah, they can hang you with anybody on the planet. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I've eaten amazing barbecue in Austin, and Houston, and Dallas, and Nashville. They have great barbecue. Don't get me wrong. But Hoggly Wogglies and Van Nuys can hang with all them bitches. People just don't know. That's an old school joint. That place has been around forever.
Next to that nasty strip club. I had to shoot a movie there one night. I was so fucking embarrassed.
Bro, there's a bunch of nasty strip clubs down there.
Budget there. One night I had to shoot. What's up with you? Why you giving me weird looks all night today? Well, you don't love me no more?
What? No, I was just thinking of barbecue and strip clubs.
Oh, okay.
You know what they're doing now because the massage parlors and everything's closed and the strip clubs and stuff? They're having Airbnb sex parties. I guess that's the new thing.
Oh, great. That's where the fucking spike's coming from.
Bro, I thought about you 2 weeks ago when I went to CVS and I saw a white guy and a hot African-American chick having an argument outside of CVS at 9:20 in the morning. He was a little chubby, and they were having some type of loud discussion. I went and I got my medication. When I walked out, he's yelling at her, "I want my wallet back, you fucking bitch."
Why'd
And
you think
she's-
of me?
Because
I'm like, wait,
you
what do
always
I
talking
don't
about all
know?
those dirty bitches up in Van Nuys and shit. So this is how bad it is where I live now. So this is my CVS. This is the main one I've been going to for 10 years. And all of a sudden when I walk out, I walk towards my car, but I hear him go, "I want my fucking wallet back, you fucking bitch." And she's like, "I didn't take your wallet." And what are you going to do, call the police and tell them what? I sucked your dick? Is that not a wedding ring around your hand? And he goes, "Bitch, I don't give a fuck if it's a wedding ring. Give me my fucking wallet." And he hauls off and smacks the decks are like fucking name a knockout in the UFC. This is way better than anything you've ever seen. The fucking pimp was down the block. He took off on his fucking car. The wallet fell out of her bra. People ran to him. Me, I didn't have a piece, so I got in my car and took off because there's a lot of shooting in North Hollywood lately. 2 days fucking later, I'm at the office. I go, let me go check on the office, get some shit out of there. I go down the block. I go down fucking whatever, and I hook on Lancashire. I'm stuck by the train station. I'm the third car in the inside lane. So I'm going south down Lancashire. Okay, I'm about to hit Magnolia, the Federal, all that stuff. But I'm sitting right there crossing the train station. And all of a sudden, out of the left of my eye, I see this commotion. And I see this woman looking up. And all of a sudden, I see an axe handle or something hit her. And she goes down into the street. And it's a white guy with a vest on, just hitting people with axe handles, and they're going down one by one.
Jesus
and all
Christ.
of a sudden, I see a chubby guy running across the street, And fucking he starts chasing the chubby guy. Traffic is beeping. Beep, beep, beep. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. And all of a sudden I go, this is my chance to be a fucking hero. I hook a U-turn, and I'm going to shoot down the street and catch him at the end and hit him with my car. It's been years since I hit a motherfucker with my car. When I get to the corner, I hit the fucking left. The guy sees me. He dropped the axe handle already. He sees me, and he runs left instead of right. If he would have ran right, I would have just hit him with the car and kept going. It would have been an accident. I didn't see him. He committed a crime. He dropped the axe handle, and the guy was on the floor,
God.
and his head was bleeding, and then the guy ran back to the train station to get some more.
What is happening?
That's why I'm leaving, dog.
Fucking Lancashire, man.
Lancashire is
Fuck that.
fucking nuts. My girl calls me. My dog, she's married. She's my buddy. She's like, I had a rough day on the set. Can I talk to you? I go, I'll meet you behind the wire like I usually meet you. Let's smoke a number. We socially distance. She sits in her car and I sit in my car, and she tells me about her day on the set. And it's 10 after 9 because I got to catch it before Mercy goes to sleep. So I meet her like 8:45. We're talking, and all of a sudden you hear, bah, bah, bah. And then you hear, bah, bah, right behind them. We're like, did you fucking hear that? That was right on the fucking corner. I go home. My wife goes, thank God you're home. She goes, it's all over the place. There was a shooting at Magnolia in Lancashire. She goes, a drive-by, and then the guy they shot at shot twice because that chicken place is there. There's a chicken place.
Hot chicken.
Hot chicken.
Dave's hot chicken.
Yeah, dog. It's not bueno by me, dog.
Yeah,
It's not bueno by a lot of people.
It's not bueno.
So the axe handle just came out of nowhere and hit this lady in the
I
head?
was sitting there minding my own business. This guy came out,
Jesus
started hitting
Christ.
people with an axe handle. So it's not bueno. You're seeing more. I go to Burbank a lot, and I go down Magnolia.
They've been saying that about New York, too. Random people get sucker punched.
New York and Chicago are both really bad right now.
Valley Village Park, a guy was walking his dog at 2 a.m. 4 identified men jumped out of a car and threw a beating on him. We're
Right.
just
For no reason.
I don't want what's in Seattle and Portland to come down here and catch. My wife had to go downtown the other day to send money, and she goes, downtown is just horrible.
Oh, it was already
just
horrible to
just
begin
horrible.
with, but it's a nightmare now.
You have stayed up here and up there. Your final conclusion is to get in the car one day next week, I've told you, and just go say your goodbyes to the comedy store by yourself. You don't have to bring nobody. Put your hand on the wall, make a left on La Cienega, and then pick a street and make a left so you can make another left to get on the 101, and make a mental projection of when this will come back. But you know what? Everybody wanted the zombie apocalypse. You got it, bitch. You know what I'm saying? You want everybody, hey, I'm a zombie.
It's pretty close.
Well, everybody wanted society to burn.
So here
So
we
many
have
people
it.
wanted society to burn, but I just don't think they expected it to burn this way. They just didn't want the current system to be in place. They wanted a more equitable system. But this is what happens when there's a breakdown. When there's a breakdown, we go back to who we were just a few thousand years ago. Like, this is why it's so important for civilization to be maintained. It's not just because, it helps rich people protect their money and helps people feel safe. It helps everybody grow. You're in a bad state if you got violence everywhere, because people can adapt to whatever state they're in. If they just become accustomed to having violence all the time everywhere, it's going to be a much more dangerous place. With the same people living in it, and 2 years later, it's a far more dangerous place. That's, for whatever reason, whatever causes people to lean one way or another like that, that's not a good sign. That's a sign of a very shaky civilization. And I think that we can lean one way or the other here. We could either lean to where we fight more and there's more violence and more chaos, more destruction, more people angry, or if we can calm the fuck down and figure out a way to work through shit together as human beings. We're the same people that lived in this planet 2 years ago when everything was amazing. We're the same people. Yeah, there was always problems on this planet. But when here you are 2 years later, it's the same human beings. We're just confronted with a problem we didn't expect, and we didn't do a good job hitting it. And we fucked it up. And we have to figure out how to do it right. But we have to also figure out how to maintain the goddamn economy. You have to have both. You can't just have one thing. You have to figure out a way where people can work in a safe way. It's possible. It's got to be possible.
What would you do different than Garcetti or Gavin Newsom?
I am a moron.
What would you do different?
I'm not the guy that you would come to that's going to tell you how to run a city. But I would say you have to realize there's a ratio. And there's a ratio of, like, if people hit a certain amount of poverty and despair, they will, the COVID, if they hit a certain amount of despair and unemployment, there's a statistic. You could actually find out, like they've done studies. You see it's a correlation between the amount of suicides, the amount of drug addicts, the amount of people who commit crime. They're all connected. People have no choice. They have no way out. And that's what a lot of this is. So they focused on one kind of life loss, and that's the life lost to the disease. But they didn't focus on the life lost to the economy collapsing or to people being unable to pay for their bills and get depressed or suicidal or drug addicts. They didn't factor that too. You have to factor all that shit in. They didn't do that. They only factored the one thing, which was you don't want people to die of the disease. How do we make sure that the hospitals aren't overstaffed? How do we make sure that people can work, or overloaded rather? How do we make sure that people can work safely? And they didn't do a good job of that. But nobody did. Nobody in America did.
We never were prepared for something like this.
They weren't prepared. They had no idea. How could they?
We were not prepared, and that's why you can't point a finger at anybody.
And I'm not apologizing for them either, because there's probably somebody like Bill Gates or someone like that who saw it coming a while ago, and he would have done a much better job of if you put him in charge of setting something like that up and protecting people from pandemics. And this is how much money you need to hit any sort of problem if it happens. If you don't, you're not going to be able to contain it. If you don't contain it, it's going to spread. This is an investment that you have to make. If you laid it out to people in that way, who fucking knows, man? That shit might work. It might have worked. They might have been able to, if not prevent this, maybe slow it down. But even New Zealand just has new cases. New Zealand had no cases for 100 days, and now they have cases.
Really? I thought I just read they didn't.
I believe it's today. I believe today they found some new cases.
Wow. Still.
This shit is crazy contagious. It's crazy contagious. It's weird.
Well, you know me.
See it? 4 new cases.
4.
Shout out to Dana White for the bubble.
All in one house, I guess.
He came up with
shit.
it. The
How'd they get there?
NBA's working on it. No, I don't think football's going to work,
It's crazy.
and that's going to devastate.
Whoever would have saw
colleges.
this coming 7 months ago?
Nobody saw this coming.
Crazy.
Nobody saw
Everyone's
this
so
coming.
tense. Have you noticed? Everyone's so tense.
It's a huge reset, though. It's going to be interesting to see what's on the other side of this, reset. It might be more positive. It might be not, but
I feel like whenever things are really bad, like with riots or with looting or with craziness, I feel like at the other end of it, people usually take a deep breath and they try to figure out, okay, what's the solution? It's getting through the crazy part when people want to smash windows and burn things, and if we can get through that and get to the point where rational people from both sides are talking. The problem is a lot of other people have jumped in that aren't rational, and they want it all to burn down. And, their life's not so great anyway. So they'd be happy to set this federal building on fire. Fuck you, my dad hates me, fuck you. There's a lot of that out there. You got to be real careful with, who you give a license to light a building on fire. Who are they doing it on behalf? Is that the wisest way to handle our resources? Wouldn't it be better if we just chanted, sang songs, maybe stated our argument? No. So many people want to light things on fire. Why? Because they become a part of any. If you have a legitimate cause, it's a really good cause, but a bunch of idiots jump in and they start fucking it up. That's what happens with people. If you just have a cause where anybody can join, and it's one of the most pivotal things, and it's on the news every day, and everyone every day is fixated on it, of course you're going to get attention whores in there. There's attention whores in every single walk of life. You're going to get attention whores as activists. There's going to be some activists that ruin it for all the other ones. The other ones that were out there really just want things to change. They're really tired of people getting shot by cops. They're really tired of injustice. They really are. And then there's people that are crazy. They want to hit people with bike locks, light buildings on fire. They're there too. That's a problem. The problem is we're all individuals. And whenever we jump into groups like that based on some sort of ideology, there's going to be people on your team that you're not going to agree with. You're stuck with their decisions. You're stuck with what they do. And then everybody digs their fucking heels in. Everybody wants to be either left wing or right wing. You're either with us or against us. You red or blue. Come on, son.
It's like message board 101.
It's dumb.
There's always a couple people. You're like, all right.
It's dumb. There should be no president. There should be a bunch of people that are in charge of different jobs. It should be like the president of finance, the president of war, the president of agriculture, the president of the environment, someone who only knows that one discipline. Do you think Trump really has any idea what the fuck they're doing when they're fracking? do you think he's paying attention to what happens to people's water wells? Their toilet bowl's on fire. No one knows why. Come on, man. Can you imagine if you lived in one of those fracking places and you took a shit and it was awful, so you lit a match and you threw it into your bowl, hoping, you would like kill some of the smell of your horrible shit, and then the match hits the fucking bowl and lights on fire because your water's flammable because they're fracking? That's real. That's totally possible. Do you think Trump knows about that? There's no way he knows about that. He's got 100 different hotels with his name on them. They have giant gold letters. Like, that's what I like. That's what I'm looking for. He's not paying attention to what's happening to people that are fracking. He has no interest. No one can. You can only think of so many things, man.
Is fracking what caused that earthquake in North Carolina the other day?
It's causing earthquakes everywhere. The number of earthquakes since fracking, let's before I talk shit and use bro science,
fracking?
Let's find out.
It's where
what
they
percentage
drilling for
of increase in earthquake activity?
What is it?
Pretty much
words?
drilling for oil, pretty much. Right?
Yeah. It's basically they're drilling into, it's a more complicated way of drilling, but through this, they've liberated so much oil that we're not as dependent. I don't know if we are dependent anymore on international oil. They've been able to suck a lot of it out of the ground, but for people that live there, it's horrific. Like, there's a guy named, is it Josh Fox, who has that book Gasland, or a documentary Gasland? I believe that's his name. He's been on here before.
This
What's that?
article about it, which this is from Inside Science from maybe a year.
What does that say there? Where you highlighted?
I didn't highlight. It's just weirdly highlighted already
Oh,
somehow.
even in Western Canada, only about 1 in 300 fracking operations causes earthquakes. Oh, no big deal.
300
Large
per
enough for
hour.
a person to feel. In North America at the moment, imagine how funny that is. Hey, man, seriously, we only cause 1 earthquake for every 300.
We're changing the earth. Only 1 out of 300.
They don't tell you how many fracking operations they have. What if they have like 300 a day across 3,000 different holes in the ground?
Which seems like that makes actual sense. It's probably something high like that.
Yeah, dude, people have these ranches out in these places, and then they have these things set up on these ranches where they'll frack and dig into the ground, and good luck if you have like a water source that's connected to that, apparently. And sometimes the gas gets out of the ground, it fucks up the air quality, and like, oof, bro, that gets dark. They aren't just small quakes, although fracturing-related earthquakes are chronic. They were thought to be minor, but new research is showing they can be quite large and damaging. The focus of the study, a 5.7 magnitude quake near Prague, Oklahoma, damaged 14 homes and other structures in the area. Imagine you're in Prague, Oklahoma. You're like, at least I can just sit on the porch and relax. We're away from most folks. And these fracking motherfuckers, they chewed up the ground under your house. Like, the government has to decide, like, how deep under your house is it still your house? Like, if you buy a plot of land and they drink your milkshake. You remember that from that movie, Let There Be Blood? He's like, I drank your milkshake.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. You remember what I'm talking about? Dude. Do you remember?
Doug, when am I going to see you again?
You're going to see me anytime you want.
All right.
Anytime. Let's make scheduled times when we see each other.
You're going to do a comedy club down there and a podcast?
Most likely. I'm definitely going to do a podcast. Most likely I'm going to do a comedy club there, too. Why not? Be fun for all of us.
What are you going to do?
Daniel
You're going to have your
Day-Lewis.
first winner, and you're going to be like, why the fuck am I here?
Exactly. So this is Daniel Day-Lewis explaining to this guy how he drinks his milkshake. He's explaining to this guy how he puts his pipes underneath this dude's land and he drinks his milkshake, and nothing you can do about it. It's like, it's weird. There's a number, I don't know how far under your house.
You found me to take it out of the ground. You know what the funny thing is? Listen. I paid him $10,000 cash in hand.
Can't play it. We'll
You
get
got
in
that
trouble.
motion plus shit still on your TVs, guys. That
What does that
setting
mean?
that makes it look like a soap opera.
Does it?
Yeah, both of your TVs have that where it stabilizes the shake of a natural camera, so now it looks like a soap opera. Like
YouTube? On YouTube?
No, your TV settings on both of these TVs have your Motion Plus turned on.
Do you notice that?
No, we never really watch videos.
Yeah. It looks normal to me.
Really?
That
That
looks
doesn't-
like a soap opera to you?
Yeah, it's got that creepy look where it looks like there's no jiggle in the camera and everyone. It's like there's just tripods everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have never noticed if
see
you
that-
didn't point it out.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't see it.
Oh, I see it.
Huh.
Ugh, I hate
Interesting.
It. Hate it so much. It
God,
drives me crazy.
that is the nerdiest video talk ever.
it's one of the worst things ever, man. It drives me crazy. I hate it so
I can't
much.
even notice it.
It's like, you know how most TV shows have like a little like you're holding a camera, like a realistic kind of like breathing of somebody filming it.
Right.
When the Motion Plus fixes all that, it makes it so it looks like it's just on a tripod and somebody hit record and they're recording somebody sitting there. It's called the soap opera effect.
So it just looks like a cheap camera.
Most TVs have it turned on to begin with because
Why?
TV companies think that looks better and people want that. But when I see it, I get panicky. It's
No
horrible.
shit. That's
Horrible.
so weird. I never even heard of that. Or I mean, I have heard of it, but I never thought of it. Auto Motion Plus is a motion smoothing feature that eliminates ghosting and blurring that occurs from fast-moving images. So it's great on live TV, like sporting events or parades, which are filmed at 30 frames per second.
That's from Samsung saying that
Well,
bullshit.
maybe it's just better for sports, though. Maybe it actually is better for sports.
Yeah, I mean, because most sports are not handheld. You know, it's like overhead stuff.
But does it affect like how it looks when things are moving fast? Like if people are sprinting or something.
Probably
like that?
because it's not. There's no jiggle to
Yeah.
it. You know, but it already doesn't have jiggle to begin with, so it's sure.
So would it be better to do it that way with movies, but the way with the motion shit with like fights and things like that?
Fights probably not, but like football and baseball or something like that. Something that's stationary cameras for the most part.
I didn't know that. You know that? Kid's a goddamn
Fuck do
video
I
dork.
fucking know. Let me ask you something.
Ask me.
You calling the fights this week?
Yes, I am.
All right.
I'm very excited.
Ooh,
Vegas?
Yeah.
The bubble?
Yeah, this is a crazy fight, man. The trilogy. Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic.
So you get tested Friday and then
Well, I got tested today.
Is that Curtis?
And I'm going to get tested again, probably like, I'll test myself on Thursday too. Taking a shitload of vitamins. I don't want to miss
Vitamin
this.
D.
Yeah, hitting that sauna, keeping away from people, wearing a mask. That's a big fight, man. It's a real big fight.
Hey, when you get those hot sauna things, do you have somebody babysitting you in the outside to just be like, "Hey, check on me every 10 minutes. I might." Because are you scared of passing out or something like that? Is that a thing?
Who are you talking
no.
to?
All right.
Who are you talking to? How dare
That's
you?
what I worry about.
My will's too strong.
You're gonna be hallucinating. Next thing you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be baking.
No, it's not that bad, dude. 180 degrees, legitimately, it sounds hot, but once you get accustomed to it, because I've been doing it for months and months. Like I started out, I would do like 150 or 160, 170, and then I went too high. I got way over like 220. I was in like the 220s. It was too hot. I was cooking. I'd come out, my throat would hurt. I'm like, that's stupid. Laird Hamilton's a freak of nature. I don't know what the fuck's flowing through that guy's veins. He's got some fucking mercury flowing through his veins. But then I got to about 180. 180 is like tolerable, but if it's a struggle. Like if you do 180 for a half an hour, ooh, those last 5 minutes are rough. You want to get the fuck out of there. Like it's a little dance with your mind. You know, you're telling your body who the fuck is in charge here. Sit down and just deal with it. Just breathe in. You have 5 minutes. How are you gonna get through this? You're gonna get through it through breathing. You want to listen to a book. Just sit the fuck down and deal with it. It's good. I like it. That guy, he's a freak. Laird Hamilton wears oven mitts and he cranks that shit up to 250 degrees and rides an Airdyne bike.
Jesus. I must smell.
Bro, he smells awesome. He smells like success. He smells like a fucking man. Yeah, he's a freak. Crazy surfer, man. Like some of the surfing shit, you watch him, and he's just dedicated to like continuing that lifestyle, keeping his body fit, like deep into his 50s. I think he's like 55. Dude's a savage. Going hard out there in this 250-degree sauna with a fucking Airdyne bike inside of it. Very unusual dude, man. I mean, you got to be someone really special to your number one thing that you love to do is ride 100-foot waves. Number one thing you want to do is balance on the fucking tip of the ferocious nature of the ocean. You're balancing on the waves themselves. You're inside the mouth of the most ferocious aspect of the ocean, the biggest waves, before they break on the shore. And guys like him, like, look at this, man. That you have to be a crazy person to want to do that. Look at that. That's amazing.
I just want to get back on fucking stage.
I know.
All right, man.
I know.
I don't want to do a line of coke.
Put those headphones on so you can hear yourself.
I don't want to fucking do a show in a parking lot and then not
course
do
not.
comedy for another 4 months. That's like showing up with a line of coke and leaving me alone.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm ready to start from scratch. I'm excited to do some Bob Gonzo shows and just do some creepy shit again. And then fucking work myself up to 30, get the endurance.
Yeah.
It'll take a little while. I'm not going to lie to you. We're all going to be a little fucking rusty.
Do you have any recordings?
Old ones.
You should record your shows on your phone from now on. It's not hard. It's real easy.
Well, that's great.
That way you can always
But,
go back and you always
right.
know your material.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
I'm,
it helps.
So important.
What I was thinking 5 months ago and what I'm thinking now is completely different.
Oh yeah, for sure. But what I'm saying is,
There's no-
you'll have
yeah.
bits. You'll have your bits. You have whatever
No, I
you're
don't wanna
thinking
say- I
now
don't-
too.
I don't ever want to say those bits again. They're
Really?
done.
You're done?
Whatever I was saying in February
But you
is
didn't
history.
record it. You got to record
Who
it.
gives a fuck?
I do.
It's what I feel from now in.
You got to save it.
We gotta talk. We
Joey.
gotta talk about what's going on now. What happened the last 5 months? The breakdowns. What happened? Something had to happen to you the last 5 months. You're gonna come back with some old bit. I'm gonna come back with Gay Bob is my neighbor. What kind of comic would I be? That's what the problem with comedy is. I can't wait to watch a guy like you. You know who's gonna light that stage on fire first?
Who?
Bill Burr. Bill Burr's at home with a new kid, 4 months. You're never going to see anything like that the first time.
Oh, I can't wait to
First
hear
3
him
times,
talking about babies.
you're not going to fucking, nobody's going to build Bill Burr out right now.
Yeah.
He's at home with 2 kids, first time, hasn't done dick, whatever, great guy, playing the drums in his basement. He's going to come at this with a complete different outlook. He's going to attack somebody. Somebody's going to go down hard.
Yeah.
There's guys that
Probably a lot of people are going down hard.
Yeah, we're going to go out there like fucking gangbusters. But I just
When do you
don't
think
want
it's going to happen?
April.
That's what I would say.
April.
So they come up with some kind of a vaccine.
Right now they're saying January, but they're saying January and they're winking at you.
Yeah, it's not, by the time everyone gets around getting it and everything, I'd say April also.
Do you guys think they should let people work?
Depends what type of job they're doing.
Yeah.
If they social distance. You know what? I'm a fat fuck. I don't go there. But the burger joint. In and out.
In and out.
They ain't social distancing in that hut.
I just ate there the other day.
They ain't
What-
social
so-
distancing in that 4 feet hut.
Do they make people wear masks inside there?
Mask and gloves, and they really try their best. But there's jobs that you just cannot.
I went to get my hair cut done
Social
done
distance.
for that week that it was open. It was I felt the safest I've ever been. Including
had a
grocery
mask
stores,
on
and
and
they're
a shield.
fucking the hair people right now.
Isn't it true that California is the only state? Is that true? California is the only state that doesn't let hairdressers open?
I saw that map, but I don't know.
Yeah, is that true though? I retweeted that map. I didn't even check.
And they said that you can only do it outside. You can't have a sink outside. You can't cut hair and windy outside shit. Like it's
just
it's
the dumbest
so fucked
idea.
up.
And then what happens when it gets dark? You got to stop.
And they,
Otherwise, you can stay open till 8, 9 at night.
and if
see
they
how
try
you
to
do
do it
your
at their
nails?
house,
They can't do your nails. Can they
Yes,
do
you
nails?
can through a shield.
Oh.
So you have to have your hand through a shield, dip them in the water, and then they spread them, and then you have to have the thing. Hey, listen, you ain't stopping the Vietnamese in fucking Orange County. They're the ones that built those tunnels for the Mexicans. They don't fucking stop. Those Vietnamese from Orange County, they're opening shop. They don't give a fuck. What about the dudes in Jersey they threw in jail? We're opening up the gym. They
Oh, yeah.
threw them
They
in
threw 'em in
jail.
jail. They're hitting them with some crazy fines, like $15,000 a day. They're going to lose their license.
It says you can get a haircut outside as of July 20th, 29th. I'm
Yeah,
seeing
but no one's
something,
doing that.
Right, but what?
And my friends that do hair out here, they said that they can't even like have you come to their house because if they find out the hair association, they'll pull their license. They're not allowed
The
to.
question though was, is California the only state that
I
bans?
know. I tried looking that up. And it didn't get
Doesn't-
that way.
Seems
It
like
doesn't.
It is.
But then again, right? If you're someone who's fucking, you can make $600 from the government, or you can take a risk of getting some disease that might kill you to clean someone's nails.
Yeah, but the problem is
You know
that
what I mean?
from what I'm hearing is a lot of people are not getting any checks. Like they got one big one and then they haven't heard anything for months. You can't call anybody. You can't get anything. So it's like I have to pay rent. So what am I going to do?
Exactly. Dude, I feel you 100%. I don't have, like, when I look at this, I don't have a clear way out of this. Because I feel like if everybody just went back to work and wore masks, how much quicker would the disease spread?
Right.
If people are working like they used to be working side by side with people just wearing masks, how much would it stop that? I don't know. Whoa, what does that look like? I mean, is the only reason why there's not a fucking heap more dead bodies because we killed the economy? I don't know, man. I'm too stupid.
I like to think that's the reason, like it
I
seems
like
like
to
that
think
makes
that-
sense.
My worry is that they like telling people what to do. That's my worry. People like telling people what to do. They love it. Stay inside. Do this. Do that. Wear a red flag. Wear a blue T-shirt. People love getting people to comply with everything. And if all of a sudden they have this power to keep you from
Did you
working,
comply with anything?
well, I didn't have to.
Okay.
I got lucky.
Neither did I.
But a lot of people
Did
did.
I go to parties? No.
No.
Did I go to the park? No. Do I need to go to a bar? Not really. Do I need to go to a restaurant? I don't even like fucking sitting next to people before COVID. Okay? So you won't see me in a restaurant till fucking San Janeiro. You understand me? There's things that are, if you're going to stand out here with 40 people for a piece of chicken, you should be shot and hung and then shot again. There's just certain things. I was very, 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 and you know this, upset about the stand-up. And I pleaded with you not to go to Houston. I called Brendan as a man. I understand the need to need money, but I don't understand the need. There's only one Dave Chappelle. So everybody should stay home and mind their fucking business. Nobody needs to go on the fucking road, because by hitters like you going on the road, we have a little power now. We all stay home. There's COVID. It's time for you to close. People are fucking dying. Where were the rates the highest? Arizona, Texas, Florida. What 3 comedy clubs are open? Arizona,
Think comedy clubs are
Texas,
spreading it?
Florida. Listen, I ain't pointing
They might have
fingers.
been.
They're
I'm
not
just
helping.
giving you a fucking
No.
fact, okay?
You never
So-
pleaded with me to not go to Houston. There was no pleading.
No, I told you that Thursday. I said, mind your fucking business and stay the fuck
this
home.
is what you said. Joe Rogan, why are you going to Texas?
Why are you going to Texas?
When I go comedy, it's only
No
50%
comedy.
capacity.
No comedy.
You wear
For
a
3
mask, you come in, you sneak
Yeah,
in.
and then how'd
hand
you call me on
sanitizer.
Monday? I'm
Nervous.
not going back on the road no more. Yeah.
I didn't say it like
yes,
that.
you did, cocksucker. I canceled the rest of my tour. This is terrible. I just got a blood test. I got my knees checked. Once Brendan and fucking the other guy got it, that set you off a little bit.
Oh, it did.
And you have children, and you have a wife, and you have responsibilities.
Well, here's the big thing.
And you have
Here's
to
the big
ask
thing.
yourself.
Guests. If I got you sick, or you sick, or
Yes.
Jamie sick, or anybody working here, that would be.
Oh, please.
I thought you could do it. Like, if the health department says you can do it, and they social distance, and you wear a mask, and you could do it. But then I got there, I'm like, you probably can. You probably can, like 4 out of 5 times, or 8 out of 10 times, or 12 out of 15 times. But it's gonna get you. It's gonna get you. If you're in these large groups of people and everybody's laughing, like, what is better at spraying a disease?
And you know
than
what,
screaming
man?
like, "Ah!"
You know what, Joe Rogan? Part of this game is taking a picture with people
Yeah.
and answering a question, It took away that alienation of it. So I'm done there. I don't want 6 people in the green room. I don't need the
That's
waitress
dangerous.
coming in.
Yeah.
I don't need the guy coming in. How much time do you want to do the music guy? I don't need any of that.
They're finding out now.
We're
and this
doing
is
all
real
this
recent.
stuff we're doing all this stuff by the book, or I won't do it. I'll do it at certain places.
But
You're
even
either
by
gonna-
the book needs to be examined. Like what by the book is.
My
if
the
it's a
book
smart
is I'm gonna
decision.
sit in my fucking car 3 feet from the fucking door. When I'm 3 minutes to go up, you knock on the fucking door. I go in, I do the comedy, and I go back in my fucking car in between shows and I take a ride.
Oh my god.
Then I come back at 10:40 when everybody's seated and you do it again. You can't go in the fucking green room with more than, because anything after 3 or 4 people, we got it.
Yep.
It's like going to a fucking orgy. You got it. So now you're going to go out there. I don't know about you, but when I fucking, when I was a kid, people tell me, Joey, give me the news, not the weather. I spit when I talk. So I don't want nobody 10 feet.
Yeah.
It's really 30 feet if you really think about the distance.
Of spit?
30.3. 30 feet.
Is that real?
Something fucking crazy. Look at my fucking lungs. Look at my stomach.
That's
when I
true.
get excited and I'm fucking yelling, I'm doing a fucking bit.
I
There's
bet you
pieces
can
of
hit
meat
8 or
coming
9
out of
feet. I bet
the
you
other
can hit
day,
9
that
feet.
dentist drilled my teeth. Do you know what I smelt?
What?
Do you know what I smelt
Ham?
in my teeth? Hair, pubic fucking hairs.
What?
Fucking the stink in my teeth when they drill. When they drill your mouth and you smell your teeth burning and whatever's stuck in between there, it's a fucking nightmare. So I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm so high.
This weed is strong. Shout out
It
to
really
Chino.
I'm
is
talking
strong.
about
Weed.
that. I'm talking about that. That's my concern about stand-up comedy. We're all gonna get COVID eventually. You're gonna get it. We're all gonna be strong enough. We're gonna survive. That's okay. My thing is the social uncertainty. The one show where somebody gets up and says, fuck you, and somebody throws a bottle and we have a problem. You know what? We have too much of that going on right now, so for that, I will not go on stage until everybody's settled, everybody's happy, the vibe is better. Go on. Your salvation right now in isolation is the internet. And you go on the internet and you get off feeling even worse than what you felt like when you went on it.
It's true.
You avoid the TV. If you have any intelligence level right now, you have to avoid the TV. And if you throw Don Lemon on or the other fucking cocksucker, it's even fucking worse. Don Lemon, I'll sidekick him in the lung if I see that cocksucker. He pisses me off. And Chris Cuomo crying. What the fuck is wrong with you, cocksucker? I used to like him. Then he started crying and shit like
They
this.
got him.
And I had to stop watching all that nonsense. ABC News is not the most watched news. It's a fucking business.
It's a business.
And they're there to petrify you.
Yes.
So I turned all that shit off, everything. I'm canceling Facebook pretty much. This is
What you
why I
just said
started the
is
Patreon.
very important. What you just said is very important. So the news is a business.
It's a business.
They're trying to
So,
get you to
sorry,
tune in.
guy. It's all over. I'm done. I'm done. If it was up to me, Joe Rogan, I would have moved to Montana,
Why didn't you move to Montana?
Because
That's the next move.
I
Hold
don't-
on.
I don't know
Let's just
nobody.
get out of California, detox a little bit, and let's talk. Let's talk.
Let's talk. Okay.
Let's get a ranch.
I say open up a club in Billings.
I'm in.
That's a theater / tremendous comedy.
Okay.
Let's call it, just so everybody knows where we're coming from, a mini cult.
A mini
A
cult.
comedy mini cult.
Comedy mini
A
cult.
60-man
Billings.
comedy guys who believe in comedy.
That could be done.
Bring your wives, bring your
Montana.
kids. Montana. Everybody
Yes.
goes to regular schools.
Right.
But we all abide certain comedy
It's a
rules.
movie.
No thieves.
Right.
No king. No people fucking.
I want
fucking up
Emilio
comedy.
Estevez to play me.
Really?
How crazy is that? Emilio Estevez is going to play him, and when the movie came up, he was too old for the movie, and he
that's
used
right,
his
yeah.
brother,
Yeah,
Charlie.
Charlie Sheen,
Fucking
yeah.
tremendous. That's a tremendous
God damn,
podcast.
what a good fucking movie that was. And great just to talk to him. There he is. Handsome bastard. Emilio
Emilio
Estevez. Yeah. He's playing with your fingers. I'm going to have to end this podcast. Well, I hope you're wrong about April, but whenever it is, we'll be more appreciative, I think.
Can an alligator survive without eating?
Yeah, for a long time.
I heard it could never die from starvation. Is that real?
I don't know. I know they know that for sure crocodiles have gone without eating for a whole year.
What's with the crocodile question?
Somebody told me that, and I
question.
can't stop thinking about
It's a
it.
solid question. Because what if they don't starve to death? They just shrink.
Right. And I also heard lobsters, but I heard that was fake.
That lobsters don't
Lobsters
starve
don't
to
have
death?
to eat.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that makes sense. Until you like shrink, if you don't have enough food, you get down to like nothing,
Right.
and then you're down to one cell,
Wow, that's interesting.
bro.
They just shrink with cells.
Here it is.
They only can be killed by starvation or accidents, it says.
Crocodiles have no recognized finite lifespan. Instead, they just get bigger and bigger until they're inevitably killed out by starvation, accidents, or disease.
Oh, so it's
This
the
is the reason we don't see crocodiles the size of Boeing 747s in the wild. So if there was an unlimited amount of food
They would live forever.
and no disease, if we vaccinated crocodiles and gave them an unlimited amount of food,
then there'd be dinosaurs.
they're
What-
basically dinosaurs. Didn't we figure that out the other day, that crocodiles are as old as some dinosaurs? Like dinosaurs were like 65 million years ago, but crocodiles go back to like 100 million years. Wasn't that what it was? So they're dinosaurs.
Yeah.
They're just still around.
They're just hungry dinosaurs.
Have you seen an alligator in real life?
Yeah.
It's so confusing. It's like, why is it right there? And why is everybody not freaking out? 80 million years. So there you go. So that's 15 million years older than when the asteroid hit and killed everything. So they're fucking dinosaurs. Dude, I remember seeing one for the first time. It was at Lake Alice. It's in Gainesville, Florida. My dad was going to school in Gainesville, and we were down there. And went to this lake. You throw marshmallows in the water, and the alligators come and get it. I was like, this is the strangest shit in the world. There's a 10-foot lizard just ate a marshmallow in front of me, and I'm not even worried about it. Like, when in the world is a fucking giant dinosaur, like, feet in front of you, and you're not freaking out? Like, crocodiles were too mean. They became too dangerous, and no one wanted them around. But alligators look like crocodiles, but they're just chill enough that people don't freak out too much if they're around. That was their trick. That's how they stayed alive. They just moved slower. Moved slower and didn't attack as much. But they're fucking everywhere, man. If you live in Florida, you got alligators in your yard all the time. Like, people want to live in Florida, like, okay, there's alligators out there.
Look at that
my
little
God.
baby.
Florida video of the day.
A
is
baby
exactly what you're talking
alligator
about.
and a bobcat duking it out.
It's kind of going viral, so I can't put it up.
Oh
there.
my
Big
God!
cop.
Look at that thing. Look at that cat.
It gets it.
It gets it?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure it gets it. The big cats and like caimans down in oh my God, bites them right in the head.
Yeah.
But big cats like caimans that live down in the Everglades, or not the Everglades, the Amazon, they eat. Those leopards eat or jaguars. They eat crocodiles down there all the time. There's a whole bunch of videos of them. They jump in the water behind crocodiles and bite them in the head. Cats are the scariest. But a crocodile and an alligator, that's a real live dinosaur, just chilling at your golf course. Congratulations.
It's like Godzilla versus Mothra. So what are you going to do for your birthday, dog?
Today's my birthday.
So what are you going to do?
This is my celebration.
This is it? What are you doing with the wife? You going out? You jumping up and down?
Applebee's.
We'll do something, yeah, probably like that. Maybe
Applebee's
IHOP.
is perfect.
IHOP.
Go shit
We'll go to
blood
IHOP.
for 3 fucking
have you had
days.
Have you had an IHOP burger?
Yeah.
Are they
it's-
legit?
No, they're frozen
Oh,
patties.
Jesus Christ.
They're bad.
IHOP fucking pancakes. I went to that pancake place in Burbank with a mistake.
Which one?
The
Patty?
shitty one. The one, International House of Pancakes.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
bad.
my God. That is fucking horrific.
That place is bad.
Last time I had a good pancake was a place in Boulder.
You got to go get some real pancakes. The ones that are not uniform.
I don't like pancakes. I'm not a big syrup guy. I used to be allergic to syrup.
I love pancakes for the 5 minutes I'm eating them, and then afterwards I feel like shit for days.
Yeah. I think McGriddle's enough. That's
that's
enough of a
Those are
pancake I
amazing.
want.
I love a McGriddle.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
God,
turned me
McGriddle
on to
with
those.
cheese.
I remember when they first came out, you and Tate Fletcher.
Oh, you
They're so
disgusting
delicious.
people.
They're so delicious. You can't help
Disgusting
yourself.
people.
You don't even
Disgusting.
care what's
You
what
used
it's
to eat
made
the
with.
fish sandwiches, you nasty fuck.
I still do.
Every
I'll eat
time I
filet
go to
of fish.
McDonald's with my daughter,
Those ain't bad.
I'm like,
once in a
that
while.
cocksucker
I
eats
eat
filet
2 or
of
3
fish
of those.
sandwiches.
I eat 2 or 3 of those filet of
You
fish.
know your asshole smells like afterward? Not
Filet of
fucking
fish?
good.
Well, don't look at it. but you can't tell me that a McGriddle doesn't taste delicious. That's
Terrible. It's
delicious.
the worst thing I ever tasted.
Have you
in my
had
life.
one?
When they first came out.
It's a
Oh,
delicious
have another one.
combination. with the mystery meat and the cheese
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and that fake syrupy, spongy bread bun. It's good.
I could do a fucking Egg McMuffin if I have
I
to.
like Egg McMuffins.
Wendy's
Out of the
Baconator.
four-
Just the shit.
I like Egg McMuffins, but if
Breakfast
I'm really tired, I'm like, fuck it, I get a McGriddle. I'm like, I don't care.
That's a pork?
Give it to me. McGriddle? Yeah, you can get sausage or bacon, right? You get a
Oh,
bacon
McGriddle.
McGriddle, yeah. Both of
No,
them
they
pork.
had that one sandwich that was the rib,
McRib.
and they spray paint the bone in.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't spray paint it. But
Whatever the fuck, they do something.
They have a machine that
They
makes
do
That's what I
something
don't understand
to
about the McRib. Why do they ever take it off the menu if people like it so much?
Yeah,
because
they
of the
limited time only because they
the
got
meat. It's
it
they
comes
buy
from
it cheap.
Indonesia.
It's like in season.
It comes via Wuhan with a fucking bat on it.
Okay. I was hoping it was like a...
Dun, dun, dun.
They can-
Dun, 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 dun.
They can only buy a large amount of meat. They can't buy it all
It's
that frequent.
It's permanent on the menu in Germany and Luxembourg.
sure.
So head over there.
Sure
Grab
it is.
McRib.
Yeah, they don't like manipulation over there. Why isn't on the menu all year? What are you doing? You're manipulating people's desires? I don't think so. They don't even allow Scientology in Germany.
Good.
They won't allow them. They're like, excuse me? What are you saying? You saying that the guy who writes the science fiction books comes up with the best religion and you don't want to pay taxes? That might be the worst German accent of all
There's
time.
conspiracies about why it's not on the menu all the time. So it's
Oh.
a deep debated topic
Probably
online
because
for
it
about 10
fucking
years.
kills you. It probably kills you. They probably know that if they give it to people 40 days in a row, they just start dropping dead. So they were like, listen, just give them 20 days of McRib. Problem solved. If they buy 20 days of McRibs and then they die the 36th day, there's no way they can connect us.
Once a month, I get zapped into going to get a Happy Meal
Happy
because
Meal.
of the toilets. My daughter.
Oh.
The fuck is wrong with you?
What is wrong
And,
with you? What is wrong with you?
I gotta go in there. Not since the epidemic. Now we drive, and they always give her the wrong toy anyway.
What's the right toy?
The one that they advertise, you fuck. Not the one, whatever. I go there trying to get the fucking one,
I don't
and
know
they
what
give
the
the other
toys
one,
are. I
and then I
didn't
got
know.
to hear the beat. No way.
I didn't know there was
So
a
2 weeks
choice.
ago, I had to go in there with the mask on and go, can I talk to somebody? Listen, I got a daughter. The last 2 times you come in here, you advertised emoji, but you gave them the
Why
fucking
isn't this
frog.
on TikTok?
What the fuck?
It is now.
And the manager said, let me help you out. And she gave me the toy I wanted, and my daughter was happy. But the last 2 times, I even tell them, she's a girl. Sometimes they ask you, is she a boy or is she a girl? She came here for a certain fucking thing, and you gave her something else. That's misrepresentation.
Misrepresentation.
So I had to go in there and get fired up. And they finally
I didn't know
gave
they
me
had
one.
different ones.
Yeah, they tell you, listen, don't ask me.
Didn't they try to outlaw those some places? They tried to outlaw giving toys into Happy Meals because they're like, no, kids like them too much. And it's forcing kids to eat bad because they want that toy.
I give her the apple slices, 3 of those fries. Listen, I grew up in a house where I wasn't allowed to eat fast food only in Miami. My cousins ate it, so my mom didn't allow it. The only thing I was allowed to eat was don't cook tonight, call Chicken Delight. I used to order that. She would say, you're not going to eat my rice and beans? Not really. And all of a sudden they'd be, she'd go, I wonder who the fuck that is. It's for me. Don't cook tonight, call Chicken Delight. $5.
Oh, my
3
goodness.
pieces of chicken, some ruffled fries, a little piece of jelly. In those days, I was really wanted to be American, so I dipped my French fries in the jelly. That's what my gross days. When I first came from Cuba, don't cook tonight. Call it Chicken Delight.
Joey, what is that Cuban place that you took me to? The one that used to be near my house in Encino. The one that's on Ventura
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Encino.
they're still
What is
there.
that? What's that place called?
I forget. There are 3 of them. There are
God
3
damn
different.
it.
I don't go there. I go to El Cochinito.
But we ate there once, and I had
Yeah.
that garlic chicken with the
chicken,
raw
yeah.
onions.
Tremendous.
Ooh.
Tremendous. That's our staple.
What is the name of that? Versailles?
Versailles.
Yes, I knew it.
Dun, dun, dun.
I was
Dun,
just
dun, dun,
as
dun,
you were
dun.
pulling it up. I feel like I saw it
So
first.
what, we're going to go
I think
after
I
this or
faked
what?
it.
We're
I
gonna
remember.
Go down there and get
What do you?
some?
I'll go there. I'd love that place. If they does it show an image of that chicken with onions, with raw onions?
And he
It's
was-
a garlic chicken with raw onion.
There it is.
That's the pork.
Eddie was there
That's
with
pork.
John Jock yesterday.
God damn, it's good. That's it right there. That's it right there with the plantains. Woo! There's something about Latin food, right? Like there's almost like there's a pop to it that like there's the spices and shit for Cuban food. Cuban food, like really like spicy Spanish food. There's something about the pop of those ingredients, you know? But that fucking garlic chicken with the raw onions and that sauce, that's like a lemon sauce that they had, Joey.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a lemony,
Like a
garlicky
garlic,
sauce?
yeah.
Garlic lemon.
God
Lard.
damn, that was good.
Kick in the door, waving the
4-4.
4-4.
All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more.
What's up, dog?
Yeah, you hate touching my hand a lot.
Because I love you. I miss you. I haven't seen you in 3 fucking months.
Listen, if we all move to a different place, maybe we'll love each other more and we'll get together in a specific spot.
I'm moving to Texas too, man.
Are
I'm
you?
getting the fuck out of Los Angeles.
How long till you move? When is
I'm
your
gonna
D-Day?
wait a while. You know,
How
everyone
long
get their
till
feet
they-
on.
till they fucking-
People are really worried about taxes, Joey,
I know they are.
because they're talking about raising them up so significantly.
And lowering the police and defunding the police from the schools. And trust me, I hear this from my wife every night. I get the fucking
Yeah, cutting the education budget.
cutting the education budget. No school all year.
It's
Parents
crazy.
don't want to mix and match. It's tough.
I
It's
just want a
tough for
garage
parent.
and a basement. That's all I need.
It's just I feel
23
like
years, Joe Rogan. I did more than I thought I'd ever do. You know what? I was at the store at a different time than Kennison and Dice, and it was just as magical. But sometimes I'd rather not be Willie Mays and go play for the Mets. If Willie Mays was smart, he would have gone out with the San Francisco Giants. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not going to do Tom Brady. You just won 6 championships. Now you want to go to Tampa Bay and do what? There's a time to say goodbye. She used to say it best. What's that lady we grew up on? It's so nice we had this time together just to have a laugh or sing a song.
I have no idea who this is the worst impression.
Carol Burnett.
Oh,
And before you know it, it's the time we have to say so
can I ask you
long.
this? Have you adapted well? Are you adapted? Have you like
To what? To do what?
This is normal. This is your new life now. This is life.
This is what it is.
No
you know?
stand up. You doing
I
podcasts.
miss stand up. I miss stand up. I'm pulling the podcast. I'm ending the church the same way. I want to walk out like a man with my feet instead of walk out on my knees. I got some ideas. But my plan right now is to leave, quarantine for 10 days, move into the house, put my daughter in school, shoot a couple days in The Sopranos, and then you and I will talk business.
Okay.
You and I will call and we'll decide what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
If we go to Montana, Redban, it's gonna be cold as fuck.
It's cold
But
as
we're
fuck.
gonna print money opening
Brian,
up
you
a
need to
comedy
learn how to
club.
chop wood.
I know
We
how
could-
to. I don't. I
listen to
ran
me.
away from all that
We go
life.
Billings.
Mini cult.
We go. There's 2 or 3 places in Montana that
Start a
would
mini
welcome
cult.
welcome us with a tax break, with the whole thing. If we just opened up a comedy club in Montana, people would love to see Brendan Shaw in Montana. People
about
would love to
Hawaii?
see Kilton. Hawaii's too easy, and we got to fight the alligators.
Problem with Hawaii is you couldn't even fly there.
Yeah,
Right.
Right now, if you fly there, you have to wait for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think that
Montana's
shit goes to September 1st, doesn't it? Something along those lines.
and I want Montana because it's hard to get there. It's a connecting flight.
What about Utah?
That means
Yeah, Montana's a pain in the ass to get to.
Utah too.
and
Keith,
Montana's
Keith's got
going
a great
to
club
weed out
down
the
there.
weak, and it's going to make you stronger. You're going to be a stronger person.
What's
Brian.
Montana's
All of us.
weed laws?
Yeah, August 11th. Reinstated beginning August 11th. Mandatory 14-day quarantine has been partial inter-island quarantine reinstated. Okay. Yeah, they're not fucking around in Florida, or excuse me, in Hawaii. They don't want people to get it.
Get on the island.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yep.
They can't get away from it, you know? It's not like if they catch it on one of those islands, it spreads through the whole fucking island.
Should they close borders of every state?
It's a good question, man. It's like, what
If this listen per capita right now, Arizona is the worst.
is it?
I called the guy I kidnapped the other night to check in with him, just to make sure. You know me, because I'm a Christian.
He's so sweet.
I heard he was having a rough time, so I called him to see if he needed anything, and he told me he doesn't leave the house because he's got his mom.
PTSD.
He takes care of his mom, so he's in Tucson,
Yeah, Arizona's.
He said that per capita, it's the worst spot in the world. So
They got hit.
he's very, very scared. So did you just find
Anywhere there's migrant workers, they get hit. Anywhere there's people that don't believe in masks, they get hit. A lot of like churches, people that want to go to church, they don't give a fuck. They start singing in church, they get hit. It's like those are the people that get hit. Like churches, unfortunately, people when they say like you can't ban houses of worship, like boy, that's a tough one because everybody's yelling.
Listen, I want to go to church.
Singing.
But church is where your heart is anyway.
Yeah.
So enough with the church is where your heart is.
But they need to make a solution.
So I
where people can
understand you
meet.
have to go and see and sing and dance. But you know what? For right now, what's going on right now, I don't know what's in the Constitution. I don't know what's in the Federation. I don't know. I'm just saying that for right now, if you want to have the congregation, anything over 8 people, you're playing with fire. Anything over 6 people.
But even then,
You're
unless you
playing
know
with
where those people are, if they're living with you, fine. But if you don't know,
Italy got hit.
they should figure out a way to do it outside.
My friend who's a pastor in Ohio does it outside every Sunday
Yeah, totally could be done
in a park.
Yeah, they can do it. You can do it outside until it gets really cold out. Yeah, and then you're
Fucking
fucked.
cold pretty soon.
Then you got to get a bonfire going.
Yeah, and then it's some
Have a
wars.
Jesus bonfire every Sunday. Yeah, that sucks, right? Stand out there with mittens on, you're 8, like, fuck this, Dad. Come on. Wait till the vaccine, Dad. I don't want to go to church by the bonfire. Diaz.
Montana, let's
I'm
get
gonna
the
miss
fuck
you.
out of here.
I'm gonna
I
miss
love
you.
you guys.
I love you too.
I love you, Redban.
Love you,
I
baby.
love you with all my heart. You
I
guys
love you
came
too,
to my
buddy.
wedding.
I love you, baby.
We're family here.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean nothing.
For real, think about. I mean, I hate to keep us going for a second here, but think about how weird this has been. Like doing these podcasts over these years, it's changed all of our lives. And how weird it is. You just talk into a microphone, just talk shit, and do it over and over and over and over again, and people just
900
enjoy it.
episodes.
What's your
10
new
years.
thing going to be after you do the church? What are you going to call it?
I do not know yet. I'm thinking of different ideas.
Call it the New Testament.
No, I'm going to take your kick.
Joey Diaz on the
First
toilet.
of all, I'm going to take your thing of using my name.
Okay.
You've always told me to use my name.
Absolutely.
Use your
And
name.
I think it's either going to be Uncle Joey, something with Uncle Joey,
Uncle Joey Diaz.
Uncle Joey Power Hour.
That's great.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do yet. Let me figure out these steps to the 24th or whatever this
Okay,
shoots.
but whatever you do,
And
listen to me.
then-
Here's something you have to do.
Go ahead.
You have to sell "You Know Me, Dog" shirts.
Okay.
You know me.
Sell a shirt that "You Know Me, Dog," because 9 out of 10 of all the fucking best stories you've ever told me start with "You Know Me, Dog." There's a "You Know Me, Dog" when the story gets crazy. If you just had a shirt that says "You Know Me, Dog," that would be a gigantic hit. Get right? Guarantee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it before those fucking hyenas out there, the people that are listening to this. You got a guy who does T-shirts, right?
Yeah.
Make that motherfucker up a shirt that says "You Know Me, Dog." I
Beautiful.
guarantee you, they'll sell like crazy.
And spirits.
Spirits is a good one too. Spirits with exclamation point. All right.
I love you.
Listen, I love you guys.
Happy
I love both
birthday.
you guys. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
Good one. Me